I'm on now. All right, give me 7 seconds to sort this out. There you go. A few seconds. I'm gonna start. Yay! All right, cool. All right, excellent. I'm back. Fantastic. All right, let me put this full screen. Everyone, this is Rap Raven, your host for the Betterment Broadcast. I'm just gonna make my screen bigger so I can see what I'm doing. Fantastic. Now this is the magic trick where we switch between. So I'll give you 17 seconds. There we go. I think this is the magic. The 67th show. That's right. 67 attempts at helping black people. Why haven't we given up? Who knows? Maybe it's important. Anyway, so so what? Unfortunately, I've been promoting last week's show instead of this week's show, so some people might not understand what the theme is. But this week's show, is this? I think what's it? Number 5, Eternal Warfare Part 5. We're doing today, but we wanted to get a live early debate going, and we invited two past speakers to come back on. Hopefully, they're listening early. You never know, but let me just do the intro, then I'll do that stuff now. Let me get out of the way. So I'm your host, Rap Raven, Betterment Broadcast, fantastic, yay! And what we're dealing with. So unfortunately, after much research, I've currently concluded that black people are collectively inadequate. That's right. If you're new to the Betterment Broadcast, if you're new to this space, one thing that we say here is we identify that, unfortunately, when it comes to working as a team or as a collective, many, if not all, black people seem to struggle to to actually achieve that, just do it efficiently. So that's a problem. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about some of these topics, of course. And when we do, we're going to use the 4D values. Now, what are the 4D values? Discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. That's what they are. If you can use this when we talk today, that'd be super fantastic. We definitely want to use this today because what we're going to be trying to do, gentlemen and ladies, is I'm obviously talking a bit too early now, but there's obviously difficulties in topics being discussed in certain avenues, and hopefully we're going to try to use this platform as a way to teach everyone how best we can do that, in a constructive way if possible, of course. And obviously one of the ways we're pushing forward is just use discipline, dignity, dedication, and discernment. Very challenging values to master, but once you do, trust me, it makes conversation very easy when you're trying to find solutions for black people. That's right. All right. So also, if we can minimize using the derogatory language, I know it's hard. Some of us have culturalized the way of speaking, but when we're trying to help black people, it's best we don't do that. Let's been engaged in some kind of creative endeavor or some expression of, I don't know. But generally, in a constructive conversation, try to keep it very constructive. There you go. And so let's break down. What is Black Betterment? Black Betterment is black people helping black people and black issues for Black Betterment, for Betterment, I should say. And that's what it is. So if you don't know what that means everything we promote here is a lifestyle. Voila. So yeah, Black Betterment is a lifestyle, and that's what we're doing. This seems to have frozen. There we go. Voila. So this entire broadcast is about the lifestyle of Black Betterment. And we're trying to get as many people to jump on board of making a considerate effort to help black people in every single area of activity. I know it doesn't sound fun or it doesn't sound rewarding at all. That's because it probably isn't fun, and it probably is not rewarding at all. But that's what it is. Someone's going to do it. That's what it is. So who's going to do it? Maybe you. Voila. Okay. So copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes of such criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing non-profit educational person use tips to balance and fair use. Yeah, so we're going to be using other people's footage. We're just using that as something to study as we do week to week. We didn't actually create the footage. Some of the footage I've had to blackify me and I've had to put into a kind of algorithm changer because the algorithm whistleblowers kind of stuff they have doesn't discriminate, doesn't really know whether we're using it in a creative way or a news way. It just looks up certain kind of images. So we've had to throw some audio over some stuff, but generally we're using other people's stuff for, journalism purposes, all that good stuff, learning purposes, and all that good stuff. So that's what we're doing. So ignore that. Oh, what's that? Ignore that. Oh. Okay, let's go there. Do black men and women listen effectively to each other's requests? We invite both sexes to discuss this live. So unfortunately, I've been telling people about last week's show when I should have been put on this week's show. This topic. This is Eternal Warfare number 5. We're dealing with issues that happen within the black community that makes it very challenging to progress. So we're going to be talking to, we're going to be highlighting. Now, before we move on, just for those who are listening and those who are not, we're going to break down TVs because obviously with black people, it's such a big collective all over the world and all that good stuff, and people have different views, different lifestyles, voila. But we're going to try to home in on certain kind of views, like maybe the most painfully experienced, maybe the most extreme, and that way, obviously, when we deal with the most extreme, what happens is it allows us to filter downwards. So some people might be aware or even can relate because they don't go for it. But I'm sure one or two things you might maybe relate to or have an understanding of. Hence why we go to the more extreme and work our way down. So we're going to look at two views. We're going to look at views from the divestment community. For those who know what divestment is, there are many try to articulate correctly, but usually I might get it wrong. Basically, there's black women who are looking out for their own self-interest and they want to find a partner out in the world, and it's anyone who treats them good they will take as a partner. This is a backlash of some feeling that maybe many black men ain't really that good partners. So this is the divestment view, and then you have the manosphere view, or maybe you should say the black manosphere view, where it's just a collection of groups that ain't best pleased with. Well, it comes from the fact that not being able to find women that they find suitable, or women at all, in many cases, and there are many arguments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read out some of the divestment problems, what they push forward. So not protecting, not providing, not educated, emotional, colorist. There's just a list. I'm sure there's more, but we just put those ones there because we're going to tackle those. So these are some of the complaints from the divestment community. And some of the complaints from the manosphere community towards the females are not feminine, not healthy, not submissive, emasculating, too sexual online, meaning showing, I guess it says what, it says on the tin, too sexual when you're in your Instagram and Twitter and this kind of stuff. Well, I don't know if you can, maybe on Twitter you can be, I don't know, who knows. Anyway, so that's what it is. There's other stuff, but we'll just tackle these 5 for now. And what we'll do for now. And what we're going to do, we're going to listen to some videos that are not mine. I've edited some of them, but generally these are other people, and hopefully I can promote them. You can support them. So we're gonna listen to those just to see if we can tick off some of these things that's going on here. But if anyone wants to talk, just jump in out, because last week we got 2 very cool, courageous speakers, and they came literally the last 10 minutes of the show, which always happens. People jump in late from parties or maybe they, whatever it is. But generally, we want to get you in early because we want to have a nice, long talk, constructive talk. But, it is what it is. If we don't get people on, we'll just watch videos and I'll ramble and rant as I do. But what we're going to listen to first. So let's listen to, let me bleed it in. So, I got a collection of, okay, let's look at some of them. So there's a show here, I forgot what it's called, but when I see it, I'll remember it. And basically, it's 3 gentlemen and they interview women, it looks like. And they've got a YouTube show, go promote, and they just ask questions. So because of the user experience of this app, I can't see which one's which. So we're going to click on all of them, and then as I hit, I'll stop and talk. And we'll break down some of the arguments that come from the manosphere and see how women respond. Remember, the overall theme of this show is the communication. Let me go back so I'm not forgetting. Do black men and women listen effectively to each other's requests? It's a communication thing. Are black men and women talking and communicating in a way that that is constructive or even digested and all that good stuff. So let's see, and we'll just go through the questions. Sorry, if there's any like F-bombs or words that are colorless, forgive me. It is 10 o'clock, but we try to keep it as constructive as possible. But this is how the world is. So let's go. So this is called daily. The text is over. It looks like daily wrap-up crew, but on my screen it's been masked. But it looks like daily wrap-up crew. So follow them on Instagram and find them YouTube and support them, make them millionaires and all kind of stuff, whatever. Right. So let's see what the question is, and now we can talk.
But I think y'all got it mixed up. Look. That's not about money. That's not about money.
So it looks like the question might be, what do you bring to the table? So out there in the manosphere, one of the token points is asking women what they bring to the table. This comes from like, I guess, men feeling undervalued in the sense of men, who work bring like the funding of a lifestyle and the funding of a family, and not feeling appreciated, and then I guess realizing that some women they pick might not do some conventional stuff. Who knows? I don't know. And then the question was, well, what do you bring to this new family or this household? This kind of stuff. So let's see how it unfolds.
That's not about money. That's what you got to.
What is that about then?
There's
That's
other
about
things
other
you could say. You could
Obviously, there are.
So okay, no. When he says, "What do you bring to the table?" The lady said I was going around the money route, and I think they're trying to say no, we're not talking money. But we've got to analyze this because obviously there is a miscommunication between black men and black women at some points. So we want to see where we go wrong so we can correct it. If this is not you, not to worry. But if it is you, we're gonna learn today. All right.
Other things, but let's out the things for me.
Okay, can I answer this?
All right, go ahead, bro.
So y'all thinking about money? That's your problem. Y'all only focus on money, right? So okay, all right. You could keep doing that, like whispering stuff, whatever.
That's another thing. Some of the men say that sometimes the women are what's the word? They might be emasculating. Did I write that down? Maybe emasculating, and they might also be. I think I haven't put down, but disrespectful. So I don't know if that counts for that, but that's something that men are wanting to highlight, and they see it as an undermining of authority or power, or just not decent or whatever.
But that's cool. So when a man asks you that question, you know what's acceptable answers? Femininity. I bring that, right? Compassion, empathy.
Okay, so the brother, press the pause button. So he's actually trying to give a list of things he's looking for, and one of the things that he's asking for is femininity. We listed this in the actual list beforehand, so that's something that we want to keep an eye on. A lot of black men are asking for this femininity, so let's see. All right.
I'm a great nurturer. Things that's intangible.
Nurturing as well, how you look after children and grow them, that kind of stuff.
Peace. I bring peace. Things that's intangible.
Okay, tangible peace.
But I can't buy. Y'all talking about cooking and cleaning. A man can buy that. You talking about sex. A man can buy that also. So bring intangibles. That's what we want to know.
So I've seen this argument. So this seems to be a growing argument. Either people are just parroting what they've heard, or generally it is something that is an issue.
Can y'all bring the intangibles?
Bring the intangibles and still get cheated on.
All right, well, that's okay. Well, you can keep negating or whatever. I'm
Bring the intangibles and you can still
telling you what
complain.
men are thinking. Y'all trying to combat it.
You can bring all of that and you still complain.
So the combative, and this is another thing that we want to tackle. Is there a combative spirit when black men and black women speak? If so, how does it start? How do we correct it? Is it a culture? Is it a new culture? We see what it is.
And women don't cheat.
The women do cheat.
All right, then. So what the hell?
So then what are we talking about? Okay.
So why would you bring that up then?
I mean,
Just to bring it up.
Y'all not listening.
Why'd you bring that up?
that just sounds like bitterness. Like I don't
Tit for
understand.
tat, like
Not at all.
It does.
Yeah,
though. Like, if we're having a grown up conversation,
we having
and
an adult conversation.
You hit up with a low blow, saying something else. I mean, if we're talking like adults, we're having a conversation, and then you hit me with a low blow. If I'm being serious and sincere with you, nobody want to hear that.
I didn't hit y'all with no low blows. I look
Okay.
very poor.
I'm just saying that.
I like your shirt. Your shirt looks good.
Thank you. I appreciate
Okay.
Those are great things y'all can
But
say.
how y'all gonna sit there and say, "Oh, but niggas still
Y'all
gonna
niggas is
cheat"?
tripping. Y'all niggas is
But then
tripping.
follow that. But follow.
Mainly Eli. Like, this nigga said tripping.
But how you gonna sit there and say niggas still cheat, but then follow
Cheating
that
is
out
cheating.
with? But then follow that out with, yeah, women cheat and we cheat better. Like what?
I just said women do cheat because he said women don't cheat. I said they do. She said we cheat better.
So you saying
that
that you
was-
making
that
it
was
seem like it's something
aside.
exclusive to only men?
Nah.
So then, I don't
We're
even
gonna
want to bring it
go
up.
in there so we can skip on that one. So that was basically the question: what do you bring to the table? You hear some men saying this now from the manosphere, just men in general. It wasn't necessarily said before because there was kind of structure and it was kind of understood, but now there might be some separation between men and female, or male, men and women, whatever we say now because of political correctness, whatever. But this is something that something to watch. But yeah, and as we started, the women thought the assumption was money and finance. That might be a problem. I think there's this thing going on where maybe many women. Sounds very tongue twister there. There you go. Yeah, maybe many women feel that what they need to bring is a career. And I think there's this circling thing that most men don't necessarily care about career. Don't get me wrong, there is a men who probably depend on you having a career. But generally, they're saying that isn't something that men are looking for when they're trying to find a long-term relationship, So that's what they're saying there. I'm just, not to mind me, I just need to fix this. Cool. So we're going to go next one. We've got maybe two more of those. Blah, 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 blah. Let's click on what the next one is talking about. Big up the guys, the daily wrap-up crew. Go support them.
Are we not the prize? Like,
Right, this next one is the prize. So this video they're asking when men, sorry, this tea I'm drinking. Men and women meet, who is the prize? Very interesting way of thinking of things. Women want to think they're the prize, men are the prize. I don't know how to break it down, but maybe they'll break it down in this one and we can talk through it. Go.
a rich man can make a rich man can take a poor woman and change her life. A rich woman will not do the same thing for.
That's a definite lie. You know how many bums I know right now living with good women
and they not
based on
marrying
dick
y'all.
alone?
Like,
You're
that's it.
bugging. You're bugging. You're bugging.
It happens, but it's not the majority.
I know tons of women supporting men with good dick only.
That's minority.
And nothing else.
That's the minority.
Trust me.
Are you?
So I mean, we'll try to keep it clean here, but we can't control everything. So once again, when men and women are talking, and this kind of feminine, masculine exchange happens, and women start saying things traditionally men say, and then sometimes men say things traditionally women say. Bit of confusion there. You want to have roles and structures, and if you know what they are before you break them. That's why I say know the roles before you break them. So any kind of creative process, know it, then you can break it. If you don't know it, you just swing in the darkness.
I'm not
supporting any man or helping a man get up.
I've done it before.
Yeah, and a lot of women like to go back to these teenage, time.
Like I was 27 dealing with.
Can I speak? A lot of
Is that
women,
a good thing?
women
Is,
judge
women supporting men. Is that a good thing? I mean, don't get me wrong. Different communities, different things go on, different dynamics. If it works for you, good. But is that a template? Is that a template for the Black community where women provide and work and men don't? If that's the case, how do you raise family and children? Will it be challenging then? Don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But, your views will come in. Very good when you have your views. Hey.
Most men from their immature age, from the teenage, we're like, oh, okay, I helped them do that. We both was living with our parents at that time. We're teenagers. You get what I'm saying? Most men nowadays handle everything they got to handle. Most, yes.
Still not all.
And it's not all women.
And not all of us were teenagers when we were taking care of these grown men either.
Right.
I think it's fair to say that wealthy women aren't marrying poor men.
That's not
true.
Can you name any
Yeah, just
wealthy
being a
women
coy
that's
at this
women
point.
that's
Yeah, just
marrying
being-
For those who are joining, we're talking about, is there a communication challenge between Black men and Black women? Especially, in trying to find solutions, but also in the process of dating is what we're looking at. So looking at some videos, and we've invited Black men and Black women to come on the panel to talk about. We started last week, but we started very late, so we wanted to give them more time. So if you're a Black man, Black woman wants to talk on this, feel free to say "I" in the forum section. I'll throw you a link. But until then, we shall listen and see if we can learn.
I don't know the woman's
Celebrities?
name, but
No.
there's this rich white woman that has
This
this dude.
one rich white
Oh,
woman.
man.
It's not the
She's not the
majority.
only
It's
person.
not the majority.
And the
giving.
majority also doesn't get offended by this question, and the majority also doesn't have anything.
If a man is supposed to come through and make your life easier, of course he's the prize. Like he's stopping you. You don't work, right?
Doesn't he have the most more?
You don't
more
work, right? You get to
responsibilities?
sit on your feet and stay at home, right?
Who gets to do that?
Yo, all right.
Who gets
Next,
to do that?
because y'all gonna be the
Who gets
coy.
to do that?
Y'all
I'm
gonna
trying
be
to
the
figure out
coy. Y'all
these
gonna-
bum bitches that you
because
know.
y'all want to.
So you break down. I think the men are trying to say that they want some appreciation for doing, providing and this kind of stuff. And I don't know if the women understand it. Maybe like there was a time when men wouldn't have to talk this way, and maybe we're still in that time. But did you post the link? No, I did not. Let me post the link now. Just for those who want to jump in, you're always welcome to jump in. Voila. Daddy, where is it? Let me find it. Here we go. Killer speed of a millipede. Voila. So I throw a link in, want to jump in. And now we press play.
Man,
So
y'all want a man that
we
makes.
definitely want women to jump in. Remember, one of the things is there is a disconnect between Black men and Black women in some aspects. We want to try to work on that to find ways of communicating that works in the collective betterment.
100K, most women, not y'all, because y'all gonna be specific. Not me.
With all due respect, you
Sit
met me
back.
15 minutes ago. You don't know what type of
Okay,
man
but you
I
keep
want.
talking about yourself.
What
Like, you
type
keep
of,
talking about yourself
right?
instead of
Because
the
why would I
collective of
generalize
I
every
can't
woman?
speak for everybody.
Right.
But y'all can see the women on. Y'all can see the women in real life. Every woman is not you. You talking about yourself as an individual.
Right, but you're
Who
talking.
wants
You have
you're
a.
asking
You know
me a
female
question.
friends. You have women, right?
Just like y'all said, y'all know women that support bum niggas.
Exactly. Those
So
are
y'all
women,
know-
speak
but
to
that
that.
don't stop y'all from saying all niggas ain't shit. Y'all never say some niggas ain't shit.
I didn't say all of them. A lot of them.
Again, I didn't say that.
Really?
Next question.
I said a lot of them.
So you met,
when
you
we
met a
say
lot
most,
of them. So you met a lot of them.
Nah, you be like, all women is doing this and women don't
no,
let
he
niggas.
said most. He said most.
You know
So
what,
you met.
I liked you at first.
You
I'm
met
just saying,
most.
you
You
flipping his words.
met most men.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so
I
then-
didn't make
so
a
you-
generalization about most men.
You said most men earlier.
When I said what?
Just now.
What did I say? Most men
Okay.
what?
Next
When you
question.
said most,
Play the cameras back. Play it back.
When you said
I-
all men ain't shit,
Play
you
it
said
back.
most men ain't shit. You just
Play
said
it back.
What they was drinking earlier? What you put in their drink?
I said a lot of them.
We had new.
So you know a lot of men.
saying,
Okay, that's cool.
I do a little.
All right.
A lot and most is not no synonyms. No.
Okay.
No, it's
all
not.
right. All right.
Next question.
Y'all picked the wrong people to be on
This
this
is gonna be an
motherfucker.
interesting show, like yo. All right.
the
My
wrong
next
niggas.
question says, can money determine the success or failure of a relationship? Okay.
Oh, damn.
Necessarily. Not for me.
Not for me. Okay. All right.
Welcome, brother Kel, to the broadcast. We're just going to play the video. Let me know if you want to say anything. But we're saying, is there a breakdown between black men and black women when it comes to communication in certain areas, avenues of life? And we're just watching multiple videos. But originally, we wanted to invite women on and men to have a conversation. We started last week where there was a miscommunication between a brother and a sister, where I was showing about femininity and there was a bit of a disagreement. I don't think I've got. I mean, I should play that video again as well. But anyway,
Hey, we gonna get to you. Why?
So, kind of stemming off of the last question, I, personal L, I'll put it out there. I dated somebody that I was supporting, wasn't having a great time, and it was just like he got very comfortable with the fact that I was doing it. He felt like he didn't need to do, and I'm more than willing to grow with somebody, but when you have nothing going for you, and I mean nothing, and you're very comfortable with that, and not.
So, is that something if a woman is supporting a man? I mean, there's certain dynamics where this might make sense. I don't know, but at times, does the woman end up losing respect for the man? We don't know. If you're a woman, let us know.
Only the fact that I was the younger one in the relationship. You a grown ass man now trying to do shit.
So if you're a younger woman and you're the older man who's not working and you're providing for him, you need to really review that. But let's see what's going on. Press play. Welcome, Peyton. Welcome if you can hear me. Going to show just your camera, your mic might be on. You might be on the highway, so we can hear wind. But we're gonna press play and see what's happening.
Because I got plans.
You know what could have prevented that? Had you had asked him what he brought to the table. I'm just gonna say that. Like, y'all love taking care of bum niggas and then want to generalize like all men.
You can ask somebody what they bring to the table, and they be like, I bring this,
and then you can hold
and
them
they don't have
accountable.
none of that
then
shit.
at least you can hold them accountable.
And what does accountability give you? Nothing.
With women, it gets you nothing.
I
Right.
worked with people that interview great and cannot deliver any fucking thing that
At
they
all.
interviewed for.
Exactly.
Nothing because
At
they
all.
lied.
And what happened? They get fired, right?
That nigga did not get fired.
Oh, he don't even get a job, right?
A lot of people.
All right, so we're just trying to. I think I actually completely. Is this what we bring to the table? I can't remember now. But we're gonna move on to the next one. I'm sure there's fantastic more stuff. Next one, be very quick. Is that muted?
You said it wasn't hard. You said it wasn't hard, so I want to hear your answer.
It's not. I mean, you submit when.
All right, so this next question looks like it's another question that was on the manosphere list, wanting women to submit to men, and the question is, are you happy to submit to men? And let's see what they say.
When they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. If they're leading, then you submit. I mean,
So this lady here says if the man is leading correctly, then she will submit.
it's simple.
Okay.
I'll show views on submitting and this kind of, and having masculine leadership in the household. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is it normal? Is it not normal?
Okay. All
Very
right.
simple.
Definitely want to hear the views of women.
Yeah, I agree with her.
So doing what they're supposed to do in terms of.
As a man, as a partner, whatever type of situation, relationship, whatever it is, like if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, then you just do what you do. But I also feel like you shouldn't give too much. You get what I'm saying? If you're just dating or in a relationship, don't be acting like no wife. I mean, you feed them enough just to let them know and
To get the ring.
recognize. No, just to let them know and recognize. I mean, it's there, but it's up to you whether.
Oh, so you just showing the potential.
Exactly,
Okay.
right.
So
And
you're
I'm
saying
not about to give
a
you
woman
a
shouldn't act like a wife before she's a wife.
No, she's saying
Exactly.
she shouldn't act like it.
She shouldn't.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what you said.
all I don't know how I feel about that.
Nah.
Yeah, I do. It does take some time for
Right.
a
You
woman
gotta
to
show
like
and
start.
prove.
Yeah, especially nowadays.
Mhm.
Shit is different out here.
You know, I feel like usually when I hear that question, you know, women get defensive over the word submission because it has like a negative stigma towards it. But then usually when they say that, oh, I only submit to my husband, right? So then it's like, all right, so do I?
What's your views on the word submit? What does it mean to women and men? Yep, very important thing. This is something we do hear a lot of men say, and especially men in the manosphere, that the women they're courting are not willing to submit, and this is problematic.
No other time y'all don't feel like it's necessary to submit to a man unless he marries you, like, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't feel like that's a switch you could turn on. Like, a lot of women be like, oh, when I get mad, I'm gonna submit. How do we know that? Like, you know what I mean? You haven't shown any signs of that you're capable of submitting. Now I'm supposed to just automatically think you're gonna submit when we get married?
I mean, there's some men who like they lead, whether it.
So, guys, we put a link in for those who join in. Today's topic is, do black men and black women constructively communicate, something like that. And we throw a link in there. We definitely want to hear the views of the black men and black women today. It would be good to hear that. We started last week, but we had to end quite early. Well, we ended on time, but the talk started relatively late. So I was jumping. We're joined at the moment by Brother Kel, who's waiting in the wings, and we've lost Brother Payton, but I'm sure he'll join back whenever his internet comes back on.
In their academic careers or like at work, they lead, so they want to come to a place where they're like, all right, they don't have to make any decisions, like their wife kind of makes it for them, and they like to submit. So it all depends
You said
on
the man likes to submit to the...
so it all depends on who you are, what you like. There are some men who are like that are like, I'm tired of making decisions. Like, for once, I want my woman to make a decision for me, and I just like lean back, rock with it.
So you guys prefer a woman to submit to you right off the back?
I mean, I feel like after a while, I would like for you to be able to show signs of submission. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's, like I said, it doesn't have to be like, do whatever I say. Like,
there's a request for the manosphere. We read that list. Is the list still there? Let's click on it. Jump back. There we go. You know, so the divestment views, some of the views from divestment community is not protecting, not providing, not educated, emotional, colorist. And from the manosphere, not feminine, not healthy, not submissive. There you go. Got that one right. Emasculating, and then too sexual online. There's many complaints, but these are the ones that I wrote down. And now I shall go. If I click back, does it go back right in what left off? Let's see. No.
or less.
Maybe.
I think a lot of women think that's what the word means is
remember,
whatever the man tells you, you have to do what he says, and that's not how most men, I think, look at it. Like, you know
Which
what I mean?
ties back to what I said. You give them just enough to show that you know
have potential of doing it.
exactly. But you know, like,
Welcome, Brother Payton.
submitting to you and then you stringing me along for 5, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20 years.
All right,
You
so
know?
Let's move to the next one. That was a question. That was a question. Should a woman submit to a man?
I should say, like,
What's this one?
Yeah, I feel like
I just get one because we're going to use this to segue into the divestment videos. Well, yeah, we've got one. Yeah, divestment videos. Got 1, 2. So let's see.
Like, you can't speak for all women, like
okay,
all black
Arthur,
women.
can you play that first clip that I sent you? Like,
They're going to play. There's many Clubhouse and these kind of apps where black men and black women come in and talk amongst themselves about grievances and things they're not displeased with. So let's hear this.
Let me see this ridiculousness.
It's gonna be right.
I met a nerdy guy. He's really sweet. We're both ambitious and educated. That's exactly the type of guy I wanted.
This is on Clubhouse.
It's just like there's no turning back because these dusties are dusty.
So dusties is a derogatory word for black men who are not constructive, not achieving well, maybe violent, just not desirable.
Like they just belong in a coffin.
Now this is the extremeness that we're talking about. You have it on both sides, but generally you do find many women in the black women in the divestment community who are completely disconnected from the emotions of black men and take pleasure in some black men being dying from police and this kind of stuff. So let's carry on. Welcome, Sister Tash. Is that you?
Oh, it is. Hi there.
Welcome. You joined last week towards the end. That's correct, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Excellent. I'm glad you came back. We should have a great conversation. Like I said, I can cut. I'll just play this video now, and then we can start up something. But let's just have a listen, because definitely want to pick your mind.
Okay. Great.
Excellent.
Ma'am.
I agree.
Ladies, I'm so happy that we loving white men.
Okay.
Because they are the most sweetest, wonderful.
Let's rewind that so we catch that again. Very importantly, we listen.
Ma'am.
I agree.
Ladies, I'm so happy that we loving white men.
Okay.
Because they are the most
So this black women here, they're very best pleased to loving white men and
sweetest,
they're sweetest,
wonderful men.
Wonderful men.
And caring, loving, patient,
all right,
honorable, wonderful guys.
Wait, listen.
And you know what's so sad? Our mothers should have left the black men a long time ago.
Oh,
Damn.
baby.
So this,
oh,
like for if y'all don't know, this is a
God.
clubhouse room, and it was a white man appreciation
This is
post.
one of the sweet ones. Too.
Yeah, and it was just black women showing their appreciation, but at the same time, like showing their displeasure for black men. So the only reason I asked this question is because
keep in mind we are in Eternal War Part 5, and Eternal War we're talking about the disconnect between black men and black women, and we're using the most extreme dichotomy. We're looking at the manosphere as well as the divestment, and within those, there's reasonable requests, and there's sometimes some stuff it seems to come from a very painful place, and I suspect that last comment does.
I'm on social because obviously the podcast, but whatever the case is, but I see a constant trend of black men ain't shit. Black men are dusties. Black men are broke. Black men are the weakest link. Black men are this, that, and the third. Where it was even to the point where there's trends of black women like, oh, get you a white man, girl, leave these black dudes alone. There's a trend on.
Let's read out some of the comments. I would really like to hear the women's point of view on all this. I know, all I know is many men are going to MGTOW. With those who don't know, MGTOW is men going their own way, something like that, and checking out regular normal relationships, whether it's from black women or green women. I think that's the comedy thing there. So yeah, what the brother's saying here, Big Cafe, is he's saying that he's observed many, just in general, there is a massive community of men who are not wanted to be in relationships with women in general, and find other ways of doing it. And this obviously is infiltrating the black community with black men, and that's why you have this word, the manosphere. Well, take a view. It's part of it. Let's carry on listening for a bit, and then we'll start talking to our guests, because we have guests, so we can't keep them waiting.
First of all, maybe the algorithm is really blessing me with some beautiful positivity, because I don't be seeing this next. I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's crazy.
That is.
I seen this one girl, and she was putting up a lot of videos on TikTok, and she was bitter. Like, honestly, that's just what it is. They're bitter. They're very bitter.
Now, one thing, I'm going to say this: many in both sides are going to be very bitter, have a history of pain, and there's definitely truth to this. But one thing we want to do here is we want to actually create conversations to go past the bitterness and try to understand the psychology, try to understand ways of repairing if possible. Although sometimes it's hard when people say certain things, because people become disconnected and see them as others.
Like, girl, heal from that. Like, to say that, like, wow, that was actually.
A lot of these groups, the extreme views they're going to have within, the black men who are separating from black women, and the black women separating from black men, because they're hanging their own kind of echo chamber, and they're describing their shortcomings and pains and stuff like that. Some of the more extreme things will become normalized. So what you will start seeing is when you start hearing them speak, some of the things they say casually, and this video shows that it's a casual statement amongst comfortable friends of how they view black men and black women. This kind of
actually, like, that was hurtful. Like, wow, that was really bitter.
So what about y'all? Like, do y'all see this in the community, or?
I mean, you see it, you hear it, you live it. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy because like these videos, that video or that sound clip doesn't like do it. Like, you know what I mean?
Justice,
there's so much more, and then it's just like you always gotta get this challenge and roar from most black women. You know what I mean? Well, not, I don't want to say most, but majority, I would say. It's hard because I don't want to say
it seems like most because of the social media. Like, that's what
what's highlighted.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that's in my home as well, but it's kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie.
In your home?
I'm saying it's not at my home,
okay.
but I'm saying like it's hard.
Yeah, I mean, the negative gets a lot of promotion, so that's kind of always like I ain't gonna hold you like, but it's rough because that's all you see on social media and that's all you hear nowadays. Like even when you dating, know what I mean, it's like if you're not paying the bill, blah blah, then you worthless.
Get you a Chad. I think that's the quote you be hearing.
Oh yeah, then they had the white boy summer going on. Like
There was a white
it's
boy
great.
summer. It was a white boy
Where
summer.
were we?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, all right. So we've joined with Brother Carl and Sister Tash. Welcome to the show, Brother Carl and Sister Tash, if your mics are working.
How you doing, family?
Hey. Hey.
I'm glad you've joined now. Last week we started. Let me see if I can jump back, but just to make it, we know what we're doing. Voila! Where's my PDF? Hold on, 17 seconds, family. Voila! So this week, do black men and women listen effectively to each other's requests? This comes. I haven't played some of the more extreme videos. Believe it or not, there are more extreme ones. So I'm not going to play those. Or maybe I will. We'll see what happens. But generally, last week we started a talk where there was a woman describing certain feminist traits of how you might achieve this or not achieve this. And I think Sister Tash jumped on and had a conversation. And then there was another brother. And I think they had agreement to disagree in certain areas. So we invited them both back. But I don't think the brother's live at the moment. But we are joined by Brother Kel. And I think, Sister Tash, you have the mic. So if there's anything you want to say about the topic, continue from last week, now's the time. We can play videos and we can listen to what you're saying, and then we can have a good chop up back and forth. But the goal is to listen and to find ways to communicate about hard topics that I guess men and women might struggle with in times and not time. Jimmy, learn.
Okay.
No pressure.
Oh gosh, I don't know. This is such a loaded question, you know.
Very, yeah.
Do black men and women listen effectively to each other's requests?
And the reason I say this, let me jump in because last week, I think the one was, I think there was a gentleman, there's a lady, she was talking about how she would recommend when you go on a date with a man for the first time, how to get his attention by not necessarily asking him to go certain places, but go where he wants to go. And rather than telling him where you want to go, you slip it in the conversation and you allow him to invite you. And that will make the man feel more masculine, this kind of stuff, like he's found something you like. And I think the gentleman last week agreed with this concept, but I think you said, no, this was not the way. And this was, I guess, we ended on that, but we can start there if it's up to you.
Yeah, I felt that this kind of list of what you should do on a date, it was a bit deceiving. And I think I can't speak for Nin. I'm hoping, I did send him a message to try and jump on, but I think his position is obviously this word submission that everyone's so fearful of. We've been discussing it on a few other panels since the last show. And it seems to kind of evoke this emotion of control. And I actually don't necessarily, I'm not fearful of this particular word, to be honest with you. But I feel it needs to be used in the correct context. I think for black women, due to like the lack of trust that historically I think was bestowed on a particular community, on our community, it's very difficult to kind of have that effective communication of where there is a moment where what I see as women allowing men to be men and lead, and men allowing women to be women, which I think is that for me is a bigger problem. Men allowing women to be women, which means that they're present in the moment, consistent, committed, all these kind of terms, and that kind of allows women to be women. So because I feel like there is this kind of manosphere, anti-feminist kind of feel at the moment going around the YouTube world, and it's kind of hold the woman responsible for everything that's going wrong in the communication between a black man and a black woman. But I don't know, you guys may disagree. I'll let you guys
Brother Kel, would you like to add your opinions on anything that's been said or not said?
Yeah, I do believe that men and women, and both of them, are very logical in how they've been created. You know, the way how a woman views certain things psychologically, and that is very logical in her gender, how she's been created. And the same thing with the man. It's very logical how he's been, how he views things in his gender role. The issue is that they see each other as competitors. And when you see each other as competitors, it's almost as if like you're in war. You know, you're on the battlefield. You know, you have to use certain, you know, tactics to outdo the other. And this is not going to work out. And because of this, from what I was watching and in life in general, you know, is that we're enemies. So, you know, a friend of my enemy is my friend's enemy, as they say. And this is a problem. You know, women, they have their code of conduct. If we remove racism away, even though it's impossible, but they have their own code of conduct due to what's happened to them and how, you know, men don't understand women. As us, as men, we have our code of conduct as well due to what's happened, you know, in history of certain things where, okay, you know, that's how they think. So we need a code of conduct. But both are logical in how they present themselves. It's just that they both need to have a language that is adaptable so they can communicate, to make them not lost in translation, but to make them clear in the conversation.
Thank you. So, you know, through my research and study, because you know, you try to study both sides and stuff. There are certain complaints that comes from the manosphere side. So let me get that up. And with the manosphere side, or men in general, in certain aspects, I think they want to highlight that many men actually don't get that much women. I think that they will show like on dating apps and this kind. They say that it's a smaller percentage of men who get the attention of women, and so a lot of men go without, and there's an acceptance of certain things, like, you know, certain men will always get more attention because of wealth and physical attributes and this kind of stuff. But when trying to explain that, well, if men can tolerate that, then women should tolerate it as well, in the sense of, you know, if you don't change certain things about yourself, you too will go down in the pecking order. Also, I think with I think Kevin Samuels and these kind of guys who go around, I think one thing they highlight is the concept of being aware of the choices you make and how that might make things more challenging. Like, whether it's true or not, awareness of it. I think that's what they preach, and I think in the manosphere, this is what they preach. Like, if you're a person who has multiple children from multiple different people, and once you pick a husband, his responsibility is to look after you and your children. So it's a big ask. So if that's a big ask, what are you doing to match that big ask? This kind of stuff, right?
But Rando, we need. Sorry, Rando. Sorry, Raven.
I don't mind sounding a good name, Rando. Okay,
sorry, I'm speaking to Rando.
Yeah.
Raven, we need to address the fact that there are women being left with a number of children to look after on their own, and why are they in this predicament? Why is it that women are choosing at times to be with men that may not commit, and why is it that men? Why is it also that men are choosing not to commit and allow women to have children, especially male children, in their homes?
Good points.
And not. Yeah, sorry.
What I'm going to try to do is, because I've been studying both views, whenever things trigger, I'll try to give the perspective that I know from the most constructive variants from these communities. And from the manosphere argument, from what I've worked out, they seem to say that A lot of the men who might be short in stature might be reserved. They might not display certain alpha masculine principles forward, or they might be young in their education, and they might be in the process of trying to find work. And they might be into goofy stuff as they they claim, like whatever it might be, how you define that. And they say that because of this, they are last in the pecking order. And what happens is certain women see maybe the aggressive type, the very confident type, they're not necessarily career driven type, and maybe the career they might be into might not be long lasting or even anti progressional. And what happens is they find that the women will go through those men, and those men will impregnate them. And there's certain signs like you're dating a man who has 2 kids already, and you're not judging wise. This is what they say. And then after you've realized that and you've realized it was wrong, you then go to the man who was ignored for many years, who has now got his career in order, and expecting him to look after the children of the man you pick first. And this was the argument that a lot of them are saying. And to be honest with you, I was aware of this argument before, in the sense of the many men who don't get attention and how they feel about it. And I do try to invite those kind of men on the show, but just like with the divestment community, many of them don't necessarily want to talk about it, and they talk through certain people, i.e., what's his brother name? I just said his name, Kevin Samuels, and
Right.
some of the other ones. So because the thing is also confidence and also working in a certain thing. This is the thing. I'm in the waiting room. Are you? Oh, yeah, you are. Let me add you. There you go. Welcome, brother Ultra. I've got so many videos I didn't see. Welcome, can you hear us?
Hello.
Big up, Ultra.
All right. So,
How you doing, bro?
Yeah, big up yourself, brother.
Yeah,
Sorry, say it again, bro.
You're in the topic, are you, brother? So the topic is the miscommunication, or the challenge of black men and black women effectively communicating with each other, and we're using the extremes of the divestment community and the manosphere community and the back and forth of the views to try to find solutions of how we can talk. We're privileged to have Sister Tasha on, because we don't really have that many women on, and so it's good to hear the views of women. But do you have any questions or anything you want to add at the moment, brother?
Yeah, I kind of do. I feel like this whole manosphere and this whole divestment, it's all born of trauma. All of it. Yeah. And I think because of trauma, or because of the trauma, whatever it may be, or the perceived slight, sincere communication breaks down. And if you and your other significant other, or the third party, or the other person in the situation are not communicating in a way that's constructive, it just turns toxic. You then go to echo chambers where you're amongst other people who have been hurt, and they encourage you to not find solutions. And that's why this split, in my subjective opinion, has happened. Because as human beings, we're inherently flawed. We constantly make mistakes, and oftentimes it's our feelings, our financial gains that take a hit. And let's be honest, in today's world, generally speaking, our feelings and our financial gains are like significant. And if something is done to damage these things, it will put you in a place mentally, emotionally, where you're frustrated, you're angry, excuse me, you're irrational, and it's very difficult to get somebody out of that frame of mind to not only better themselves, but to ensure that they're not spreading the toxicity. I think that's the word. But alas, that hasn't happened. And now we've got this manosphere and this divestment group, and it's nuts because we all complain to each other about this one did this and this one did that. But all right, okay, yes, but what are we going to do to help you or to help me get over said thing so that we can move forward, we can learn, we can try our best to circumnavigate making the same mistakes going forward. I don't. That's where the problem is for me, because I was in the clubhouse room the other day, and the types of things that I was hearing from black women was unfucking believable.
Brother, just so you know, on this show we tried to keep it very colourful language, not colourless language.
Sorry, my bad. My bad.
And
I won't lie to you. That's how deeply it shocked me, the things I was hearing.
Of course.
Right. But then whenever I'm having conversations and it's about deeply held and cherished beliefs and trauma, you have to if you don't take yourself emotionally out of it and approach it analytically, you can get sucked in as well. So what I did was I went in and I said, when it was my turn to talk, I said, okay, so I understand that you've been through that, and I can't apologize because it wasn't me, but I'm sorry you had to go through that. However, I feel like I haven't heard any solutions to the problem. Like, there was one girl, I said, look, if you communicated X, Y, and Z, she's like, I tried, and you're not helping. And I was like, right, okay. So, yeah. I literally said, communicate to the guy that she immediately didn't want to hear it. And because I suggested that she tried something else other than complaining, I wasn't helping, which means she only wanted to hear confirmation bites. And it's very difficult to get through to people like that without serious therapy.
Well, I definitely recommend therapy for everyone going through anything like this. There's some videos I'm not playing. Well, I might play it a bit, but the things you're saying, it sounds like some things I've heard said and stuff. What we try to do here is we do try to create a space where that conversation can happen. And maybe I need to go. I think Clubhouse is now available on Android, so maybe I should jump in on Clubhouse if I can find
Yes,
stuff.
sir. I'm an Android user myself.
There you go.
Robert Raven.
Yes, Brother Kill.
Would you say, right, and this is just my experience, as well as, the reality, it is very, unmasculine for a man to ask a woman for her to be feminine. It's, what I get from these guys, right, is that, unfortunately, right, and I've said this before, there is a code, right, that every man must learn in order to understand the female psychology, right? It's not manipulating them, and it's certainly not to abuse them. But what it is, just like in anything in life, you have to be able to communicate. If I'm going to learn how to speak the Wolof language, I have to learn the steps, the linguistics of it, the wording of it, the idioms of it, in order for me to formulate that language to communicate, right? So if you as a man is asking a woman, right, that can you be submissive and feminine, she's not going to do that, because it's very cringy, to ask a woman, oh, can you be submissive? You know what I mean? You need to be submissive and things like that. You have to have the knowledge in order to help her to feel comfortable to be submissive.
But isn't that the problem? I feel like if you have to ask a woman to be feminine, I think that's part of the problem, because like a woman, like the minute she comes out of the womb is a woman. She's feminine biologically, right? Obviously, you get some women who go through stuff and they have to grow up quite quickly, and but women are women. They're feminine. Obviously, there's exceptions to the rule, but I feel like if you have to ask a woman to be herself, there's an issue there.
Well, they've broken down feminine and masculine, and last week we showed the
Sorry,
lady.
Raven, my battery's dying. I apologize, brother. I'll be back.
That's okay, my friend. We'll be ready when you're back. So just answer the brother's question. Last week we read out some principles of masculinity and femininity. So even though women are born women and men are born men, I know some people will disagree. there are actual like tendencies, and I think what they're saying is, are you upholding these tendencies? So, they say that feminine is a receiving quality, while masculine is a giving quality. Feminine is a soft quality, masculine is a hard quality. Masculine is more logical, feminine is more intuitive. Struggle. Masculine is confident, feminine is generous. So there's a collection of things that how they break it down, and there's a purpose behind them. But I think what's also happening is where was that? Let me not play that video. But yeah, I think that's what they mean. But now in order to, what the brother Cal was saying was, yeah, we get that. To actually ask someone to do something, it does seem a bit odd in our place. And I think what's happening is there's such a disconnect in the manosphere with men who have gone so long either not around women in general, or having such a bad experience that they're leading with things they want, because they have a. I think the more you get let down, the less tolerance you have.
Yeah. Hold on. I liked what you said there. They're leading with what they want rather than what they need. It's a big issue, I think, for like the Black community. Leading wants and desires are very different to what you need, the necessities that you need in your life.
I hear you.
I think I just want to touch on a few things that both the other panelists have said. I feel Kale's coming from a position of gender roles and kind of femininity, masculinity, and I think that definitely is an issue. But I think it's more a case of, because I think it's very objective in it. I know you're going by the manosphere kind of guidelines of what femininity is, I'm assuming, or you're going by the dictionary. What we going by here, Raven?
Well, I was reading a list that I googled, and because they're all the same response. So I don't know if it's from the manosphere. It's going to be. I think it's the historical breakdown of what these two qualities are.
Right.
But yes, these are guides that the manosphere wants. But also, there is a request from both men and women in certain things, and it seems that there is this assumption that, and we have a history where women are doing more of a masculine output, and this despite bother some of the people in the management. Let me just mute my mic for a bit.
You know what it is, Sister Tash, right?
Yeah.
And I'm very candid when I'm about to say. I've said this before. Is that my experience as a man dealing with women is that there are like 8 types of women, and they all have like 8 types.
Oh wow!
That they generally have molded themselves into due to life experiences. So, for example, you'll have like a playette, you'll have a social butterfly, you'll have a romantic, a Cinderella, a tomboy, you'll have like a seductress, a connoisseur, and a modern day woman. And the problem is with us men is that because women are so diverse and understand how they maneuver due to their life experiences, they're actually in those roles that I mentioned. And in order for you to understand the woman that you want to be with, right, you're gonna have to understand that code that she uses to protect herself with those characteristics in order for her to feel feminine by the man who's going to understand the code. And that's why, for me, sister, is why I was saying that both men and women are both logical, right? Because no disrespect to Brother Raven, I know he's just reading something, but when you're saying things like the man's more confident and the woman's no confident, and men are these are European ideologies in regards to men are only logical and the women are not. But the creator of the heavens and the earth have made both men and women logical. It's just that they perceive they're logical in different ways, if that makes any sense.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, so this is
Yeah,
so
I think so.
what I've read out is I have read out the European, or just the definition of it, but this is what the manosphere is going by. And despite that, what the consensus is the combat. Obviously, we don't have to say this, but it should be declared. This is not all women. This is women of a certain group that people are highlighting. When there is a combative nature within certain women publicly, let's use on social network. This is what their the manosphere is complaining about. This is what they're identifying as a masculine energy, as in like it's almost like competing with another masculine kind of form of person. And I think this one of the things we're going to try to do in this show is hear what people are saying, get rid of all the bad words and stuff, hear what they're saying, and try to start a conversation about it, and see if we can have a constructive outcome. I'm going to put the link in there again.
Just before you go into that, just one point. I find it interesting. I've been hearing this on a few panels again in the last week.
Right.
This kind of, because I look at masculinity and I see it's a very expressive space for a man to be when he reaches that kind of masculine kind of energy that he brings out. And I think sometimes when women are seen as quote unquote masculine, supposedly, it's not seen as expressive, it's seen as aggressive, which is interesting. Because I don't necessarily consider masculinity to be aggressive. So I just wanted to put that point forward, because even our children, when they're behaving in a certain way, that child, that young boy is aggressive. No, he's expressive. These kind of terms we should try and pull away from, unless we really have true cause. Aggression is a real thing, and we shouldn't use it, just to kind of belittle the gender. But I'm not in. I don't agree with the whole masculine kind of energy that women tend to draw for. But I understand at times why they do.
Very good. It will. Thank you, Tash. Excellent point. What we will be trying to do here is we definitely want to get the views of people who hold these views, because I think before brother Ultra cut out, he was talking about him going into certain forums, and for those who know, there are many of these forums out there full of many black people of different sexes and this kind of stuff, and they are circling trauma. So we definitely want to give them an outlet.
Oh yeah, Clubhouse. Beware, it's a different beast, Ravens.
Oh yeah, I'm well prepared for
have your armor on, thick skin, and all that.
Oh yeah, that's my MO. I'm very my armor's always on. But being a solutionist, especially Afro solutionist and Black solutionist, my thing is to see where there's trauma, see where there's challenges, and try to find solutions. And sometimes you have to hear the most hardest thing, but sometimes you have to listen, even though you don't agree. And one of the problems we have is requests are being made, and we're not unpacking those requests. So from the divestment, there are requests, and that's why we've listed here. Where is your PDF? Hold on, PDF. Oh, it's disappeared. Oh, good. Give me 17 seconds. There we go. It says, oh, that's not the one. So so we're going to the extreme ends, but matter of fact, let me play this before I. Now, this is from, where are they? Is it this one? Is it this one? I assume it's this one.
To a special episode.
To blackify it so we don't get flagged. I assume they probably flag stuff. So this is creative viewing. It's been changed enough for it not to be original.
Episode of Listen to Black Women, the show that tells you what black women are thinking and why we're right.
Obviously not all black women, but the black women that are on the show. But
this season has been filled with some pretty awesome topics, some light and others kind of heavy. One of our deeper subjects that's been a hot topic is toxic masculinity. And this season, we went there. In our episode, Are We Experiencing a Crisis of Toxic Masculinity? We didn't just define what it is. Our host spoke on the impact it's having on black women and culture.
This statistic kind of hurt me the most with, do men in today's society protect women?
That's more what I'm interested in, is how do black women feel collectively in certain areas around the world, in London, America, Canada, blah, blah, blah. Do they feel that black men naturally protect black women? And the majority are saying no. And it's to those women that we definitely want to invite and talk.
With 77% of us saying no. And even though I feel that way, my girls feel that way, it still is, it's hard to hear that we're out here feeling really alone and that we have to do this thing by ourselves and there is no covering of protection like we were raised to think we were going to get.
Sadly, this feeling of being unprotected isn't just a notion. It became a viral conversation in 2018 after a young black woman was attacked by a white man in a McDonald's in Florida while her male coworkers simply watched.
That's something we are seeing. And obviously, you have different behavioral patterns and social network, but it is that concept of women being beat up by anyone, and black males are heard in the background filming, but not trying to intervene. This is obviously not the behavior patterns of all black men or black people in general, but this is what goes around and this is what will be used.
Our hope is that speaking on it will promote awareness and change. Now, here's the thing about toxic masculinity. It takes many forms. Abandonment is one, policing women is another. Check out this clip from an episode of Listen to Black Women.
Earlier this year, Sierra had the internet mad because she posted a video from a sermon from John Gray.
Too many women want to be married, but you're walking in the spirit of girlfriend. Ask the Lord to deliver you from that spirit and carry yourself like you're already taken. And I promise you, when you carry yourself like a wife, a husband will find you.
And Sierra, now that she's a wife, had decided that her best response to that was level up.
So, as y'all can imagine, the internet was in an uproar over that mess. Because they were like, level up, like, girl, weren't you just a baby mama a couple years ago?
Talk about it.
As you can see, men aren't the only culprits when it comes to policing women. And our hosts aren't afraid to speak on all offenders, especially those on repeat like Pastor Gray, who made headlines again at the end of 2018 for making a controversial statement many believed celebrated treating black women like mules. Check out this clip from Listen to Black Women.
There are just so many industries now that are built on preying on the insecurities and desperation of black women. And specifically, I feel like the church is one of the biggest culprits. He was on a show to promote a book. Yes. And once again, here's another man telling a woman what we need to do to be chosen, to be valued. And it just continues to promote just this story of how we have to mule to be worthy. It's too much and there's no balance.
Should women birth men? Absolutely not. Sadly, toxic masculinity is so pervasive, it's challenging for women to set boundaries with men we're not even in relationships with. You know where we're going. R. Kelly. Despite accusations of toxic behavior against women ranging from pedophilia to deviant cult-like actions, people, and most notably black women, can't seem to cancel the infamous singer. On this episode of Listen to Black Women, we broke down why.
Music is a form of hypnosis. Even if you take it all the way to...
All right, we can stop there. So just showing you some stuff. I was going to show you. Let me show you. So also on just to highlight certain behaviors that Brother Ultra was saying before he dropped off. There's many secret, silent kind of YouTube channels that highlight women divesting to other men and also not using certain terms to describe black men. But they also, what we might focus on is the negativity of what some of these women might say towards black men. But I tend to try to look at the motivational point, and I think this small video highlights it. You want to say something, Sister Sash, before I play the video?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's interesting. They talk about are black women protecting black men protecting black women, and we've just gone through this whole Black Lives Matter movement, and we do have to say to ourselves, our lives have to matter before other people can see our lives mattering. So our men do need to protect their women, and vice versa, before we can.
Hold on. When you say vice versa, what does that mean?
When I say protect, we do need to have a code, I think, of respect for one another as a group.
No, what I mean is when you said that black men need to protect women, you said vice versa. Black women need to protect black men. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, I would say it goes both ways.
I think as a clever statement that makes sense. One thing I would push forward though, when it comes to responsibilities, I think sometimes we do we have an equal talking, but we don't have a tangible talking. And I think it works in black. If seven, I can't remember the number, but it was 7. Let me see. Let's see. Defining. Okay, this is in America, maybe a state. I don't know, but I'm sure around that I've seen similar. Do men today protect black women? And the majority say no. So what I'm saying is, in order to try to correct that psychologically, There needs to be a code, but there also needs to be a pecking order. And I think the pecking order is telling black men to protect black women, and not vice versa. Does that make sense?
That word protect, I mean, I think we do generally do a fairly reasonable job. I'm saying I'm kind of saying that we both need to do it, but obviously the issue is, are black men protecting black women?
Yes, but what the problem I have is I tried to uphold the arguments that people were saying. I tried to have like certain who's responsible, who's the primary responsibility of a certain action, and men have been charged in many societies of protector of the society. It just kind of biologically makes sense.
Right.
There's all type of protection, like emotional protection and that kind of branding protection. But generally, women are not feeling safe or feel like if they were harmed, black men would care. And I think they use these kind of TikTok videos to highlight some of this stuff. So what I'm saying is, as a priority or a primary, I would push forward that the talk should be black men protecting women end. I don't think we should actually then caveat it or segue it to and black women, because I think then it might undermine the importance and the necessity of what black men to do. And in that concept, even if it's not true, even if black men are actually protecting black women, if black women feel they're not protected by black men, that is going to manifest in a certain kind of way in the community, and that's what we have to highlight. Maybe some of the things said here are doing that.
Well, Brother Raven.
Go ahead, Brother Kel.
Brother Raven, right? If we get back to the reality, all due respect to you, brother, the only way the black woman's going to feel protected globally and stuff like that, the black man is going to have to, and this is the reality of it, either he destroys white supremacy, right, or, right, he removes himself away from it and formulate a government based upon separation. You see, I thought, brother, we were going to talk about like how to, how the black man should, court the black woman, and you know what I mean. But if we're going to go on that path, brother, the reality is really really obvious. The black woman will never ever 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 feel protected, never feel safe, as long as, right, we do not have our economics and education and security. We can go on the podcast, brother, and we can talk about all these tangible solutions. It will mean nothing without security and economics. It's not going to work out. The white woman, brother, she feels protected because the white man can protect her economically. He provides security, right, globally. Do you understand? That's why she can roam around. She can be like all fantasy, and she can be all doolally. The fact is, she always understands that we are in control. We have the economics and we have the security. The black woman will never feel that if that's what we're going down that path, right? Until we destroy it or formulate a government in order for us to prepare to destroy it. That's the only solution, my brother.
And I can't say yay, nay to that. I mean, there's a lot of people push that forward, and I see the logic in that. But what I would ask is, if today, let's just try to form a kind of standpoint. If today black women feel 70% of men are not, 70% of women feel they're not protected, the question is, 10, 15, 40, 50 years ago, would that have been the same number? If the answer is no, if the answer is 50 years ago, 40 years ago, black women felt that within the structural racism scenario, if they felt that even under there that black men are going to make an attempt, and they felt they would protect within their best ability, then that means that within that framework there is still stuff that can be done before this mass revolution happens. So in that actual framework, within that framework, that if our past time black women felt more protected under that system, then we can return at the very least to that concept and ask what was happening then that allowed that process to happen. But this doesn't negate the 100% truth of how to actually protect the people that Brother Kel has pushed forward, which is, well studied, well documented. But sometimes there's simple steps before you get to that big one. That's what we're pushing forward. What I'm doing now is I'm just going to play. I'm just going to play another 1 minute video, and I think I was talking before about the many divestment videos out there of women not being best pleased. But I'm showing certain behavioral patterns that could that lead to it, and I'm just going to play this one here. So about a minute. This is called a law feminine or something like that. Well, do it. So these are some of the groups that they spin up. Oh, we got someone joining. Oh, they can't connect. Laverne, if you want to connect, you might have to. I can't seem to connect you, but come back and come in and see if we can get you in again. So these are some of the groups that some of the lady forums that's out there that show videos of black women going with non-black men and complaining about certain behaviors that black men have.
Like an addict, thicker than Andy Rick. Started not that are none of
Colors, black men and boys are a blessing in disguise. Hear me out. Now, I won't go.
Welcome, Laverne B. I hope your connection is strong. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. I'm just going to play this, and then we can ask your opinion. Oh, we've got another individual, Stanley. Welcome, Stanley.
Hey.
Excellent. Glad you joined. We're going to watch this video, then we're going to start talking. So hopefully your microphone's worked off for a minute. For a bit.
Whenever you think you can.
Definitely, of course. It won't take a minute, but we'll get a nice topic going. Okay.
Go as far as to say that they're the scum of the earth, because that's mean. But I do feel like they're not the brightest human beings. You know, there's a lot of ignorance there, internalized everything.
This woman's talking about her perception of black colorism.
You know,
Mel.
Lack of self-awareness, self-loathing, just issues, right? And if the darkness of my skin can serve as a repellent for such degenerates, what a blessing. What a blessing. Imagine the bullets I'm dodging without even lifting a finger. Like, guys, I'm saying so much time, energy is being saved because of my natural repellent. It's crazy. Like, blessing in disguise. Silver lining. Oh my gosh.
I'm going to skip this for a bit. And there's one more. And this is basically, I think those TikTok videos where you ask black men who do they prefer, black women or non-black women. And this is like a TikTok of a TikTok or something like that. I don't know. So what's happening is, for those who can't see it, basically there's two sides, white girls, black girls, and all the black men are jumping towards the white girls.
And on behalf of the black girls, we will voluntarily pass you to the white girls, and it's up to them if they want to keep you or not. As a white girl, I would like to decline the offer. I don't know if I speak for all white girls, but if they don't like the black queen, something's wrong with them, okay? We will, however, gladly pass them on to the beautiful Latina queens and see if they want them.
As a Latina, I would gladly pass this to our beautiful Asian queens and see if they want them, porque yo no los quiero porque son unos pendejos. Thank you. Because if they don't like the black queens, something's really wrong with them.
On behalf of Asian ladies, we happily decline the offer because if he doesn't love a black queen, then we don't want him. But we will pass it on to the Native American queens to see
No,
if
we
they
don't
do.
want them.
Cool. Let's end that. And now we're joined by Laverne B and Stanley. Welcome to the show. Laverne B, let's kick up the what it's about. This week's topic is hold on. Do black men and women listen effectively to each other's requests? Now we're going for two extremes. One, we're going down to like the basic courting that Cal was saying, like maybe there's a discrimination. Then we also go into like, I guess, traumatized black men and black women who don't see eye to eye. How are you guys doing? Would you like to say anything at all?
Not at this moment. It's my first time listening, and I'm just going to get a feel of the show, and then I will jump in when I feel that I can.
Of course, definitely. And Stanley, anything you'd like to add before we move on?
Kind of the same here. I chuckled at the who's gonna accept which queen video.
Okay.
It was laughable.
Why was it laughable? And obviously I'll give my opinion next. One thing I'm noticing, so this whole show is about black women in terms of black people working with black people. to find solutions. And what tends to happen when you have some of these scrimmages going on in the social network, they start including non-black people to like do this kind of side-taking stuff, and then before you know it, the people who you're once very cautious about is now your number one ally, and then it becomes very challenging at some point. And we will unpack that at another time. But what made you chuckle?
The slippery slope.
Okay. So now we have two sisters on and two brothers coming on. Hopefully we can have, obviously they're new to the show. We'll get them, but because Tash is, looks like we've lost one, but I'm sure that we won't. Tash is here. Is there anything you'd like to add from anything that you've seen so far, Sister Tash, that we can unravel?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Stanley what he meant by a slippery slope, but I think it's quite interesting actually. To kind of see that, because I had a discussion about this with somebody else recently, and I was saying that our issue, my issue when it comes to blacks kind of taking on this whole dating outside their race. I don't have an issue with it, so to speak, right? My issue is when black men in particular and black women start to disrespect their own race in the process of dating outside. And no other community is as good at doing that as the black community. And sometimes it's so embarrassing.
Yes.
It's cringe the way that we do it, because no other community has that issue. They will always, if they do, they're not going to be disrespecting their own race whilst dating outside.
Right. And a very good point. And that's where we start the show with, unfortunately, the behavior patterns of many black people is in the form of collectively inadequacy, you see. And inside many black people is a trapped trauma where whenever something is triggered, they quickly jump onto that kind of behavior. It's in the depths of many black people, and this is what we're trying to work on. But that's why this show, we're trying to find constructive ways to find out some of these issues, and that's why some people might not want to tackle this kind of side. But I think with the manosphere and the divestment growing, we definitely do it. I think we got a new Brother Payne. He might have problem with his connection, but if you can hear us, Brother Payne, if your microphone all that works, you're welcome to join in.
I can hear you.
There you go. So yes, where are we? Let me get to the ting. So I mean, what I could do now, I mean, I didn't want to necessarily play some of the extreme stuff, but I could. We mentioned a sister named Cynthia G a few weeks ago, and she's quite very sharp when it comes to her disapproval of black men's behavior as she views it. So, can you hear me? Is that you, Laverne? Did you want to ask a question, or is it the show?
No, I'm good. I'm listening to you.
Cool. What we're gonna do? We're gonna play, because obviously we don't have too many women's on the extreme side of you. So let's listen to her. She's got a video here where, and this segues nice to this concept of a white male giving compliments to a black female, and the whole notion around. Let's listen to this.
Lord Jesus. I don't think people really understand how much I am in love with black women.
So, I mean, for me, obviously, I try not to give my opinions too much, whatever. But I don't necessarily see why this is necessary. This kind of behavior from a non-black person. I wouldn't even say it's pandering. I just say it's inappropriate. But
I mean,
this works both ways, male and female.
It's getting to the point where people are understanding, but like y'all just don't fully grasp the fact. Like every black woman that I see on my fucking For You page, heart follow. Lord Jesus, y'all so perfect. Nope, can't tell me nothing different. Black women are life. Black women are love. Black women are health and just prosperity. Just black women are perfection. Do you understand that? And Lord, man, look, man.
So the people out there, if black women are hearing this and they really feel good after hearing it, and there's a high possibility that is, and that might be a problem in the community where, a non-black person is, I'm not going to say pandering or just fetishizing. I don't know what word to use, but where this is what is favorable. And if the lack of black attention, the squabble between the two causes that, it's something we definitely need to highlight. But I don't know the outcome.
Raven.
Go ahead, brother Kel.
I was gonna ask Sister Tash. She said that that she doesn't have a problem with interracial relationships, and I was gonna ask her, why do you not have a problem with it? All due respect, if you can explain.
Yeah, I think in this day and age, I suppose it's also to do with my belief system as well.
Mm-hmm.
I believe love is love, right? And I do kind of feel, I know people may disagree, that I can't tell another human being who and what they should love, right? But I think it's a case of, how can I put it? It's a difficult one because I feel I see it in a way that I'm not able to really fully explain it to others that really believe in, black on black love solely.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think people are living in different environments, have different experiences, and I wouldn't ever want to stop people from loving whoever they wanted to love. I suppose my question, Kale, is what are you against regarding someone dating outside of their race?
I was going to ask you this little bit of a sneaky question before I answer that, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
I was going to
ask about me. Go on.
What is your belief system, if you mind me asking?
I'm a Muslim. So.
Oh, you're a Muslim?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I understand. Right?
Yeah.
And your question was why am I against it?
Yes.
Okay. Here's why I'm against it. Number one, sister, is that there is a problem in the black community. Globally, we are being basically populated. Number two, the black family is not surviving.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Number three is that our generational wealth, when we're with non-African people, is benefiting them, then it benefits us.
Mm-hmm.
Number four, the black woman, who is the original woman in all of the religions, whether it's the Abrahamic faith or not, she's always been spoken about and birthed those African prophets. She is not really taken care of and even married. Now that's a problem because we came from the black woman, right? And all those black men who like to run off with the non-African women and don't realize that the non-African women only like you because you came from the black woman and your mystique came from the black woman. Then if I'm going to support interracial relationship, then I'm not really aiding the survival of black people.
Cool.
Right. I mean.
Well, may I hop in here?
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Tosh.
No, go on. No, after you.
I'm sorry. Was it Kala?
It's Kale, like the.
I'm sorry, I don't have on my glasses. Now, your argument, understood it. Now, which century are you living in?
I'm living in the past, the present.
I heard the argument about the black family not surviving, all that stuff. I actually listened to you. I'd like to know, is this 1800 or 2021? Because I think it's old-fashioned thinking.
Okay, so let me jump because I want to jump before. Thank you for speaking, brother Kyle and brother Stanley. And I think this is a good topic because this might bleed into some of the breakdown in communication. Because before the black man and black woman who have difficulty talking, there was characteristics and behavior patterns from both sides that made this very challenging. And when we start the show, we do highlight that unfortunately, black people are collectively inadequate from the research that's been done. And what I try to push forward is there is a high amount of anxiety and defense mechanism that come in when we talk about something as important as unionship or marriage and family and stuff. And what my observation has shown is when you view other people groups, the Asian people group, the European people group, their concept of marriage it seems to be much more stronger, and they seem to understand how it benefits the collective community as a whole. And so one thing I do in order to minimize the anxiety that is created when black people talk about miscegenation, this kind of stuff, is to rather than say what not to do, is to highlight the primary template that works best within the interests of black people. So the question I ask,
well, I may sound like some weird Republican dude, but when you start putting implications and guilt on how people choose their people, their men or their women, you're essentially robbing black people of agency. A black man or a black woman should choose the person they love.
Good point. Good point.
And of course, you know, the best thing is continuing the black family, but I'm a black man, black American. I choose who I choose. That is freedom. That is breaking the bonds of, you know, post 1865. I choose whom I choose.
Oh yeah,
and
I chime
do
in for a
get a
second?
little upset when I start hearing other people, and they're certainly free to have opinions, but their opinions don't make a difference in whom I choose to love.
Right.
Could be a white girl.
Right. So there's other people who want to jump in. So who put their hands up?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, brother. Go ahead.
Who was that? Who did the brother who speak just leave? Has he gone? Oh, good.
Yes, I think he's got connection.
Okay. So
I hope
I wanted to chime in on that.
You can jump in, Peyton, but before he jumps in, hopefully he'll jump back. Just so you know, when we talk about black people being collectively inadequate, this is for me as orator and someone who studies it. This is a prime function. The emotional connection between non-black people is so strong that just to talk about the constructive benefit of black men like black women erupts. So we definitely want to get more people who are misogynists who think this way. And once again, I try to put things in a way where I'm not here to tell people who not to date. I'm saying that it's almost like me saying, rather than telling your kids not to be a tiddlywinks player, be a lawyer. And what happens is they become very defensive about wanting to play tiddlywinks for a professional company or something like that. And it's like, actually, you might find more value in the black community being a lawyer or a doctor rather than a professional tiddlywinks player. Now, either what I'm saying is true or it's not true. Also, unfortunately, what is the primary best way to produce black people? That's black man, black woman. It's just one of those. It's either what I'm saying is true or not true. So when this is the collectively inadequacy I'm describing, and this doesn't take away a person's agency to make choice, but it's actually like knowing what the fact is and then moving from that. What we do see, and I'll let someone jump in afterwards, and we studied this a few weeks back, it's the concept of benchmark rebranding, where a person wants to change the benchmark and then rebrand it and then have everyone follow this new kind of concept. We see this in many aspects in the black community where it's either a person becoming a drug dealer or a pimp, where rather than doing something that's just for them in their situation, they market it to make themselves feel more comfortable and then try to convince people that this is the best way to move forward. It's either true or it's not true that in order to sustain the black people, constructive black man and constructive black woman is the best option. That's either a fact or it's not fact. But let me not speak. I think Brother Payton, or was it Laverne B wanted to speak? Am I wrong?
Yeah, that was me.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
bro.
that was
Pay, you have your choice. Hopefully, the brother will jump in, but if not, you can still have your say. Go ahead.
okay. Can you guys hear me well? I'm like in the airport and behind a mask.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah,
I hear you.
we can hear you.
Okay, cool. So it's so there was so much said. It's funny, but I kind of fall in the middle between two. I can't remember the brother and sister's conversation or their names. I apologize. With between being with black people and letting people and saying I don't care who someone is with. I fall in the middle of that. Like having dated and married a white woman at one point, being exclusively all about black women. Um, I get it because I don't want to take away someone's agency. Like this guy said, do what you're gonna do. Like it's your life as an individual. Um, and for me to tell someone who they need to love and who they need to be with, I have a problem with that because at the end of the day, we need our freedoms. Um, but at the same time, I can't help but to say when I see a brother or a sister with a white person, I don't cringe a little bit. Like, damn, we lost one. Where do we fail here? You know what I mean? That comes into my head. But everyone's racial identity is their own evolution, so I leave it be. But I am agree with hey, we need to rebuild ourselves. We need to build ourselves up, and we need to do that within our own community because no one else is going to do that for us because we're floundering and we're suffering. Um, and to the point of what the brother said, that he said, that everyone have their agency and that, it's the 1800s. Because you see us being summarily exterminated, whether it's via prison, whether it's via the welfare system, whether it's being, mixing racially. There's so much of us being eroded, and you said it just a minute ago, like it's being rebranded, like black love is being rebranded. As long as there's one black person in there, it's black love. It's like no, that's interracial love. Like let's keep it where it is. So I feel like there's a little. It's okay for people to do whatever they want to do, but I think when you're looking at individuals, yeah, they want their freedoms, but when you have to look at the bigger picture. When you start looking at the bigger picture at us as a race, as a people, you become more, responsible and saying, I need to be with my people. It's not just about me, but there are plenty of black women around. You can find love anywhere, and it's got to that point where you have to say, hey, look, I want
You know what, as
bring
well,
black
brother
people
Page.
up, and the best way, number one way to do it is to be good to other black people and procreate with black people. So, I found false way in the middle of the road, but I agree with both. Like we have to focus on ourselves, but people are going to do what they're going to do. They need to be happy and do what they're going to do.
Thank you, Brother Payne. I think Brother Cal wanted to add to that. Go ahead, Brother Cal. I think Brother Stanley has returned. Hopefully his microphone and stuff is working better now. His connection, I should say. But Cal, what are you going to say first?
Well, here's the thing for our beloved brother Stanley, right? Is that he says that you should be free to be wherever you need to be in what interracial relation. But when you do like be in a relationship with a European woman, you're not free because the European woman, right, is part of a collective who have economics and power, and we don't have that. So at any time and point, she can always rely on her community to practice unethical code of conduct against you. It's the same thing with the Asian woman. It's the same thing with the Middle Eastern woman. So how would that be free?
Okay.
Maneuver
so
around.
a black woman can't do that?
What's the question?
Unfortunately, Brother Stanley, that
so a black woman can't have the same agency. That's an odd argument. So black women aren't free to do the same things as white women are?
Absolutely not, brother.
Is that your contention?
Absolutely not, brother Stanley, and I'll explain why. Is that the black woman, the African woman, is in the same position as the African man. They both are discriminated with unethical code of conduct, right? So the African woman, unfortunately, as you've seen, she's not getting protected. She's mistreated. All non-African people discriminate against her and even attack her. And we saw that no one's protecting her. So this is why I have to disagree with you, my brother, is that the African woman is not protected. That's why I'm saying is that if we rebuild our community, right, as what the Honorable Marcus Garvey says, is that you use your economics, you use your political agenda, and you use your culture. If we use that and formulate a government, right, then that's when the African woman can be protected. Well, at the moment, Brother Stanley, she's not protected at all. It's just an illusion, unfortunately. I have a question for Sister Tasha as well, if I can.
Of course.
All due respect to her. Sister Tash, right, you said that you're a Muslim, right?
Yes, yes, I am. I wanted to come in, but yeah, I am. I wanted to make
We can't hear
a
you,
point
sister.
to share.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. So you are a
I
follower.
wanted to share some.
And, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to share some. Okay, go on. No, after you. Sorry.
So you're a follower of Muhammad, the son of Abdullah, and I will say, you are a follower of him, right?
Yes, I'm a Muslim. Yeah.
Okay.
What does that have any? What does? Yeah. Okay.
Now I'm going to get to it. Are you aware, sister, that the Muhammad, the son of Abdullah, peace be upon him, there is a narration where he makes it clear, and you can research it, where he says that you can marry your tribe.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. I know where you're going.
Right.
Okay.
And in regards to that, when there were certain circumstances, if there was difficulties amongst the tribe or if there was warring of enemies, that he advised to stick with your tribe if it's going to cause difficulties. You're aware of this narration, aren't you?
Yes. Yes.
Now, I understand and respect where you're coming from because you're a Muslim, and the creator, from what I've gathered in the religion of Islam, that he wants all the human beings to be unified as a collective, right?
Right.
At the same time, Sister Tash, there is a verse in the Quran, right?
Yeah.
And it says that, "O mankind, we've created you from male and female. We made you into different tribes and nations that you may know one another." Right? Now, the Creator has made it specifically clear that we're in different tribes, that we must know one another.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean, sister, or due respect to you, that we just share the culture. Also, understanding that we're in different natures. Do you understand?
Let me just put myself forward in terms of my actual predicament, and so that you may be able to put it in perspective, right? So I'm married and have been married for a number of years. My husband is mixed race. His father is Caribbean Montserrat and his mother is Asian Punjabi. I'm from Guyana, where my family are seen as black, right? Would probably be considered as Dougla, a few of us, myself, right? Which we have a lot of Asian and black influences. But when you see my husband and I, many people see us as a black couple. My husband is the complexion of Tyrese, and gets darker in the sun. I'm fairer than him. And we're seen as a black couple. What we do for our community in terms of the black community, I'm going to be honest with you, brother, right? I know black couples. I know black couples that are friends with myself and my husband, right? And this is no disrespect, right, to some of my friends. They don't have their eye on the ball in regards to the black community as we do, right? So I want to be clear, this race, as much as I'm very much, I do love black love, I cannot lie. The thing I think you need to look at more so is the individuals. Culture plays a massive role, right, in these kind of marriages. But you need to actually question like what we want to do, how we see ourselves as people, because also in Islam we discuss oppression, right, and tackling oppression. And me as a Caribbean woman, I consider the Caribbean as still an oppressed space, which I need to support. I've got a lot of family there. My husband's got family there. And we do that. We do support that. So I just wanted to make my position clear so we understand. And I recognize that globally, Black people are struggling, and we support that.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
Before you respond, Ethel, we've got a new, is it Samaron, the goat? Are you new? I don't know if you can hear.
Yeah, this is somewhat on. Somewhat on.
All right, brother. So you feel free to jump in and add your.
I'm just jumping in, trying to see with the specific topic.
Go ahead. Okay, yeah. So we're just talking about the disconnect between Black men and Black women, and there was a brother from somewhere in the States that he didn't declare, but I think he heard that. Can you hear me? I was saying that we're talking about the disconnect between Black women and Black men when it comes to communicating and dating, and there's and in the extremes there's the manosphere and the divestment community, and how they don't see eye to eye in certain ideas. And then I think we were, oh, look at the brother's gone. But I'll carry on for the people listening. And then we got on to the is Black love important? I would say forward that, and then Sister Tashton gave her rendition of her African ancestry and her husband's African ancestry, and how they value Black love, and how they are perceived and seen, and the importance of fixing the Caribbean community, and this kind of stuff.
I wanted to know if Kale could understands where I'm coming from. If you don't mind, Raven, I don't mean to, but I wanted to be very clear with Kale where I am and you know my position. So I hope he understands more so, you know, my predicament. He may still have questions on that, but yeah, I just wanted to be clear.
Brother Kale, would you like to just a quick response to Sister Tash? Maybe not.
Okay.
Deep conversation. So what I was go ahead. Go ahead.
No, what I was referring to was that.
Sorry, Kel. Sorry, do you mind? Kel, did you actually understand what I said in regards to that? Do you hear where I'm coming from?
No, but the thing is, like, okay, when you said Brother Kale,
you
were speaking about the African woman.
Can Samaroon hear me? Is he
No.
delayed? One moment. Just let the brother.
Let brother correspond, and then you come after. Is that okay, brother?
Samaroon's a little bit delayed. Yeah, sometimes he's a bit delayed.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll let Kel speak, and then Samaroon will jump up. Come, brother Kel.
You see what it is, sister, right? You're from the Caribbean, right?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, but you might.
He's delayed by about 10-15 seconds, you know. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just let Brother Kel say what he's saying, Samaroon, and then jump in. Brother Kel, if you could be sharp and precise so we can help out.
Yeah.
Samaroon, go ahead.
It is the thing, Sister Tash, right? Is that you said you're from the Caribbean, and there was a brilliant man by the name of Marcus Garvey, right? He came from there, and
he's from Jamaica. Yeah, but remember, I was clear that I'm from Guyana, right? And my history is entrenched in Guyanese culture, because we are from the Caribbean. We are all very, very different, right? But I respect Africa, and I respect the Caribbean wholeheartedly. But my culture is Guyanese. And I have an invested interest in supporting the people of that particular part of the world. So I respect Marcus Garvey's work. There's no ifs and buts about it. But I just wanted to be clear on that, because I think sometimes, you know, people kind of misinterpret what people are saying in regards to dating outside their race. I'm very clear that I think Black people should do the work that they're supposed to do for their community if they're oppressed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because sister, you know, you said that, you know, you're specifically for your particular tribe, Ghanaian. That's what you were saying, right? And you know, and you should have an interest, but that particular tribe, sister, or due respect to, cannot defeat white supremacy. Do you understand, sister? It has to be a collective where, even though we have different religions, but we must all come together and say, you know what, there's a problem. So let's use our culture, because although you're Ghanaian, sister, all due respect to you, we know that it was the Africans who settled in the Caribbean. Before the enslavement, Africans settled in there. So the Ghanaian culture, all due respect to you, sister, will have African traditions one way or another in there. So
yeah, I'm not disputing that. Yeah, I'm not disputing that. But I think I'm assuming, I think that you may be from the Pan-African movement. You know, that may be your space in where you're from, right? For me personally, I'm not going to hop over Guyana to Africa. I have to work on Guyana, and Guyana have a lot of influences from around the world. Definitely an African foundation, right? But I'm very how can I put it? I've got family over there, and for that, I definitely need to support that group, right? And they have influences from all over the world, but we do have the Marcus Garvey influences in Guyana. We do have 2 days in the year where we celebrate Marcus Garvey and his movement. But yeah, I just think it sorry, yeah.
So
Go on,
a question is attached. Quick question: is it possible for you to support your country as well as practice a form of black betterment with other black people in your social surroundings? Can you do both?
Yeah. No, 100%, 100%. But I can't sleep good at night. I know that in the UK we
Trevor,
live fairly well.
come here, please.
Oh, looks like Stanley's back. I think that's Stanley there.
Yeah, but I think I have to, because I have obviously people that I speak to in Guyana, you know, on a weekly basis. I'm aware that their environment is not the same as mine. So
and I think and obviously everyone has their own opinion on how things should do, but I think for me it's like you know, people could do multiple things. I'm from Dominica and Jamaica, and I take an interest in making sure that things are doing well, family, business, and this kind of stuff. But I'm also here in London, where I'm surrounded by black people from the diaspora, and I work. And also, there's brothers and sisters from here, from America, who I've met on social space, who we can collect and come together and try to work on solutions.
oh yeah, no, I'm interested in collective work, 100% globally.
Yeah, but I think the reason why we're here is the concept of black love, which now Brother Stanley is here. And I was paying gave his opinion before Stanley was disconnected. And it's this concept that, you know, I just pushed forward that it is an interesting topic, that the concept of love and marriage is very strong in the black community when it comes to not being with our own. And the philosophies always seem to go outside. And I equate this for us being collectively inadequate, as well as in a collectively inferior position where these things make sense. But if we were to study other people groups,
can you all hear me now?
We can.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I am so sorry. I had to go to a laptop.
That's right. You're here now, bro. So,
so I did have a question.
Turn the speaker off. I've got some question about paying while Brother Stanley fixes his microphone. Go ahead.
So I mean, like, keeping with the theme of the you know, the podcast. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get, you know, figure out. So because I do find that there's a very big disconnect in communication between black men and black women.
Yes.
And having these conversations are very difficult. And I'm trying to, and so we're talking solution based. So one, do you see it? And two, what do you think the solution is? Because I've had so many experiences where it's not worth even having a conversation. Where it's just like, I can't engage, you know what I mean? And that kind of like frantic behavior that's completely against any data, that's solely belief-based, that has nothing to do with evidence. So how do you have those conversations? Or how do you bridge that gap with the conversation between black people?
Okay, let me jump. So what Brother Peyton is saying is very important, because it's kind of where I wanted the show to go, and it is this this concept of where a black man and black woman are talking. The perspective is a black man is saying something he perceives as logical.
Somebody's echoing.
It's Stanley. Yeah, it's probably Stanley. I'll give 17 seconds, Stanley. And there seems, and you see it sometimes on podcasts where I think the black man is trying to be logical as he's claiming, and the black woman the black woman might be acting more emotional, towards saying he's either logical, how to get them across. And then there's the other argument where black women are making claims about the inadequacies of black men and achievements, and black men are getting emotional, well, I guess the same response, and name calling and this kind of stuff, right? So, but how do we propose forward? I say we have times where we give people a chance to express themselves, and we let them land, and then we try to find solutions to the things they say. But we also establish, is there truth and to anything the person is saying? And if there is, then we move upon that truth. So that's why I know it sounds like we're beating a dead horse in this kind of stuff. But if I think when the videos were showing, there was a request that black men want to see feminine nature. I know Brother Cal's like, well, this seems very weird and all that a man is making such a request. We have to break down what is he that is interpreted as anti-feminine, and what is it that's being reviewed that we can review that and go, okay. And the question is, if black men and women are arguing on a platform, is that seen as feminine on masculine and masculine on masculine? And if that is, then maybe one solution is make sure that we have a code of conduct when we talk, but we don't actually try to argue. And that's why even there was a swear word brought in here earlier, and I had to really say not to use these kind of words, because when we casually use swear words casually, and it's in normal practice, when we use them in arguments, it then becomes conversational. And then the conversation itself becomes confrontational. So we want to minimize any kind of emotion. Say it, brother. There was a quote said there. Did you say something, Brian?
I was gonna say, Raven, in regards to the feminine, women may say that. What about men being masculine? For women to be feminine, that might. There is an attack on.
Hold on, because I'm always going to try to give the domino effect. Whenever I hear arguments on both sides, I'll give the response I remember. So I'll be very quick. The question is, a lot of people say that whenever I hear
can you mute Stanley?
I'm going to mute you, Stanley. But what you might want to do is have wear headphones, and you're listening to the show live. But because you're inside this show, Brother Stanley, you don't need to listen to the live YouTube. You can listen to that.
I can hear you, but I think I'm putting feedback in here.
No, what it is, you've got two shows open. You've got the live show open, and then you've also got this forum show over, and there's a delay. So if you mute the live show, the YouTube streaming, but not this show where you're actually in this kind of StreamYard forum, this is what it turns out. But quick response to answer that, what men are saying is if masculine and feminine should be off the bat, in the sense of like, would you accept a man who came to you with a feminine nature and said, if you become feminine, I will then become masculine? This is the argument that the Manosphere people put forward, that actually this should be the nature we lead with, and that way we're aware and we're not actually acting, we're trying to be our full selves, this kind of stuff.
Can I address that a little bit? I couldn't get in before, but
now's your time.
So I always have a problem with someone saying what the nature of a man or a woman is. I'm like, for me, in order to say what the nature of a thing is, you have to have created that thing. So it's a spectrum. No one's one thing or another, no matter what. It's all perspective. People are going to say what they think, but what they believe is not necessarily true. But I also have a problem with it, and I've had this argument several times when someone says, okay, so can you do this? I find it evasive when the other person says, well, it's like, well, we're not discussing that right now. Right now, we're discussing you. Let's focus on that. And then we can talk about me after we're done. You know what I mean? Like, but people use that as a argument. I literally had this discussion where I was like, with a sister, I was like, hey, listen, I agree with you. We were talking about, it's like, the single mother phenomenon. And one of the things was that, Black women are partially responsible for the single mother phenomenon, because it's your womb. You are allowing all these men to, have babies with you. And I'm like, yeah, it's absolutely your responsibility. It's your body.
You
suffer.
Sorry, Paige.
Can I? Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, but it's a bit of a monologue.
Can I finish?
There's so many points.
Can I finish?
Let them say far more than you are.
It's a bit of an attack on women, I think. But anyway,
no, hold on. You're not hearing me.
But Brother Payne, finish this thing, because we're going to use this conversation to find a codified way to find solutions. So carry on what you're saying.
So, sister, your reaction right now is exactly the reaction you get. But I keep getting interrupted.
I thought
And
you
no
were
one's
about
listening.
solutions, bro. I thought you
Well,
were
no,
about
hold on, Sister Tash.
So, sis,
Let
can you
me
hear what
now
I'm
he's now
saying?
going to he's now going down the route of trying to attack me.
Sis,
Okay.
you're not listening to me.
And
Brother
Fadi,
Payne,
you're in an airport and you can't hear
wait,
me.
wait.
That's
I'm
it.
gonna mute you for a minute, Brother Payne, just for 4 seconds.
Okay.
And the reason I'm muting you is because here's what it is. We actually hit. I hope you can still hear me. I've muted you because what's happened is we've got to a point that you're talking about that pattern might be repeated, and we want to actually address it. But because you're in a loud environment and both of you are talking, it's going to be very confusing. And this is the worst time to be in that environment because you're actually tackling the primal topic that we want to reach. And that is, how do you articulate these concerns to Black women without them feeling that you're directly attacking them or their collective group, whatever it is? And how do we how do we find solutions from that? And that's where we're at now. So what we want to do, Sister Tash, is let Brother Payton finish what he's going to say, and then you can respond. And I hopefully I can add some kind of intermediary conversational device. Brother Payton, hold on.
Yeah.
Let Brother Payton finish, and then you can jump in after Tash. Go ahead, Brother Payton.
So, Sister Sharp, this is exactly what happened. Like, I feel like this is where the breakdown comes in, right? You feel attacked, and before I could even finish any of the conversation I was trying to have, I was already interrupted, and you've already made your decision, gotten to the end of my point before I could even make it, based on what I was saying. And I think that's what the problem is, because we're not listening to each other. We get emotional and then we cut each other off. So what I was saying as a finish, when I was trying to finish, I was saying, yes, it's each person's responsibility to take care of their bodies. I was like, women are vastly more affected by a pregnancy, physically, emotionally, economically, than men are. And me and my wife had the same conversation. I was like, so it makes sense that you guys have to be. I'm sorry, it's freaking airport again. Sorry. Sorry, one second. And I was saying it makes more sense for a woman to watch out for herself, to protect herself, when men are trying to have sex with them, or when they're going to try to protect themselves.
A woman's overtaking you.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm still talking. But when a woman is more affected by
she's
pregnancy than
overtalking.
man, it's dangerous for women to do that.
You're
Now,
having
men are
women
definitely
problems of your own.
Hold on, Stanley. Let Brother Payne finish. I know he's got a woman in the background speaking.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We might have to mute you, Brother Payne, because of where you're at.
That's not surprising.
I'm going to mute Brother Payne for now. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to want Brother. I know he might not have got to the end because there's a meeting going on in the background. It might be most hard to hear him. But what I would say is, Sister Tash was bringing. She felt maybe women were being attacked, and just so you know, anytime I see patterns, I'm going to highlight them. So this is a manosphere pattern that I'm seeing, as in a similar argument that Brother Payne is saying. But Sister Tash will have to express how she felt and why she felt. Go ahead, Sister Tash. Go ahead.
No, I think what had happened is because I mentioned masculinity, so I think the brother's back went up. But I said that I think some women may. Well, I should have probably said that women may see it as, what about men being masculine when we talked about women being feminine, right? But obviously, now I'm aware that he is from the manosphere.
I'm not sure he is. We won't put that on him. But
I don't know. It's sounding more like
is Sister Tosh being interrupted?
No.
Okay, it's okay. It's all right, Stanley. Thank you. No, it was just I think we may. This is the prime example of communication that's not effective. I'm really about solutions and coming up with tangible kind of strategies, and where we can effectively support one another as a people, right? Coming from a marriage, right, and a man and a woman kind of working together to support one another, I think it's very, very important that we don't pull each other down. And I think when you are having a child as a woman, me not being a single parent woman, I feel a bit uncomfortable when I hear men holding women responsible because it's their body, yet they're forgetting the moments that took place before they lay down with that woman.
Right. So now you said that. Hold on.
So can I finish what I was saying?
Well, we could hear you. That was the only reason that you weren't able
Hold on.
to.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, I get you.
Before you jump in, I'm just gonna, because what I promised myself to find a solution. I'm gonna try to.
I don't want to lose my thoughts. That's why.
Okay. Say just for that comment. Finish your thought, and then I'll jump in after. Go ahead. Pay it.
Yeah. So and that's the thing. Like that's what I was trying to say. Like when I was having the conversation, it wasn't like the whole point of the conversation was that it makes sense for you to take care of yourself. Don't rely on men to take care of you. Like as far as protecting your body, protecting your well-being, stuff like that. That was the point. We never got to that point. But it was a hard. So I wasn't like trying to dog women out. And I completely acknowledge that men are just as responsible. The only problem is it's not our bodies that go through all the trauma, right? But everyone was so quick to jump and get emotional about the topic, because there's no way I'm going to say men aren't responsible. I'm all about taking care of your kids, and I shun dudes that don't take care of their kids. So I'm all about that. But I have daughters, mostly daughters. So I'm all about, hey, this is your body. You have to rely on it. You can't rely on any man to take care of your body. It's your responsibility.
Okay, brother, perish the thought that my husband would ever even utter those kind of words in terms of saying that you have to look after your body as my wife. Right?
Hold on.
I think that is probably exactly why we are in the space that we're in. That is heavily irresponsible. As a man, we want you to lead. We want you to guide. And for you to say, okay, it's your body, I've laid down with you, you deal with it. How do we put you in a position of leadership and respect?
That's not what I'm saying. I said I say that to my child.
Put yourself in that position of leadership.
Yeah, good point. But this is good. Hold on, brothers. This is good. I'm not going to use this time to explain certain things. Sister Tasha is correct in the sense of in a structured relationship, man and wife, and that courtship, everything she says 100% correct in that sense. I think what Brother Payne and maybe the Manosphere is saying is the opportunity to choose is important. Meaning, like one of the things the Manosphere says is men do not sleep around and do not impregnate women and be respectful. But even though that's what they're articulating to constructive men, they're saying in order to help with that concept, women also have to choose, make sure they don't sleep with men of a past history of a certain kind of behavioral pattern where men might have many children that look after them and this kind of stuff, right? So what I'm saying, I'm trying to find where the men and women of both these groups synchronize on how best to find solutions. But just so you're aware of, these are the arguments that people from this dimension are pushing forward, that men should not be promiscuous with women and should not just be seen with any woman. By the same token, there will be men who do not believe in this. So the women must be very vigilant on who they choose, because if, like Brother Peyton was saying, when it comes to that kind of behavior, the man might be able to easily escape without the trauma and the pregnancy and that kind of stuff.
So Raven, you're asking for the woman to question the man.
I'm saying
and
with the
man's
communication
integrity and
issues, like
sincerity
it's kind of
towards
highlighted
the woman
here.
that he is
One
laying
at a time,
down
family.
with.
We've got 3 people speaking.
Oh, I can't hear them. I'm sorry.
Raven.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
What you say, Brother Raven, right? It's supposed to be the community.
Yes.
Right? That's supposed to be keeping things in order when the man and the woman, as it pertains to the African man, the African woman, want to have consensual relationship in marriage. You see, we seem to be focused on individualism, and it's the same individual mindset is why our community and our kids are in the situation that they are. The community, as Sister Tash, no disrespect to her, even in the religion of Islam, it's the community that filters out the bad apples. Even in Pan-Africanism from the past, it's the community. It should never be individually, because you can
I would agree with that.
You can perceive a person, and you may like what that person looks like, right? But because you are in a fixed state of liking that person, not blocking your things. Whereas if there's a community there, whether a father or an uncle or the community, then they can spot, on that woman or that man, and then that's when the judgment can come as you have this generational wealth to help out this tribe, so we can build that tribe and we can build the African tribe. It's community, Brother Raven. It should never be individualism.
Very good point, Brother Kel. Just before anyone starts speaking, I would say that this show has been interesting because this is a very slow pace, and we have to thank Sister Laverne and Sister Tash who've come in to give us the female perspective, as well as the newcomer Stanley and Brother Payne returning, and obviously the collective the wisdom from Brother Kel. One thing I would say is we've made a bit of a mileage here because we started that conversation that seems to be very uncomfortable, and I would like Sister Tash to when her microphone works better ways to actually finish what she was saying. But it does feel like we will have to continue this fantastic conversation next week, and if we do, would it be correct and kind to ask if definitely Sister Tash and Sister Laverne be join us as early as 10 o'clock next week? Is that a possibility or not so much? Do you reckon, ladies?
I think I can try that.
Yeah.
I did want to actually make a point. I didn't actually want to leave it all to Sister Tash to take the mantle and run with it, because I have a different perspective. Maybe I think being a bit older and being down the single parent route, and what my responsibility was, and I agree with the gentleman who was saying about it's a community who can filter out the bad apples, because in the situation that I was in when I was younger, there was no one to filter out any bad apples. I'm an only child, no brothers or sisters, no cousins close by, so I was like I was green in the lion's den.
Your parents?
Hold on, Brother Stanley. Let the sister finish, Brother Stanley. Sorry, because it's your first time speaking, so we definitely want to hear you.
It is, yes.
Carry on.
So as I was saying, as a green woman, a green young woman, without any guidance of any males or other role models apart from my father, who was a very quiet and insular sort of man, I went out into the big wide world and I wasn't ready for it. I tended to believe what I was told, and hence ended up with a child that I really wasn't ready for.
Right.
I take responsibility as an old woman. I take responsibility that I should have been more choosy when I got pregnant. I should have been choosy about who I was with. But I felt like I had no guidance because there was no village and there was no community to help me. So I would like the solution, I think, for us as Black women and the younger women coming up is that we stick together. If we see a wrongdoing, we say, we don't keep stum. We say, this brother isn't a right man for you. He's doing X, Y, and Z. Not, it's none of my business, I'm going to stay out of it. We need to stay in it to protect our youngers coming up and the kids coming up. That's what we need to, and our grandchildren, because hopefully I'll be a grandmother one day. But that's something we need to stick together more like that. And what Tasha was saying is about you love who you love, and I agree with that. I have never dated out of my race. I'm not attractive. That's the only thing. I'm not attracted to anyone who's not in my race. Maybe if I was, I might have dated outside of my race, but it's just not something for me. And it's not because it's just, I think the cultural thing is easier, and you have so many more things in common when you have the same race. So, if you want to date outside your race, fair play to you. That's what you want to do. I think that's me for now. I'll shut up.
Let me jump in for Tash jumps in, because now she's got a lot to say. And what I'm saying is, this is good. That thank you, Sister Laverne, for spreading for giving your perspective and your part, and that's great. And what I would say is, Brother Carol's dropped some interesting and very helpful stuff that Laverne resonates with. And Peyton has said what he had to say, and so is Tash. And I would like us to try to keep this vibe going, because it is very difficult when you have the male and female talking and certain things trigger. And what we want to do is, when we're triggered, I want to highlight what's triggering and see if we can find ways to iron it out and make more sense, maybe to see things from different angles, so people cannot have that kind of high passion towards certain kind of deliveries. But this is the challenge. But this is what we're going to try to be, and this is part of the solution process. I know it might sound alien, This actually is part of it. And in order to do that, I would like to welcome Laverne B and Sister Tash and any other women in the forum who are listening to jump on next week at 10 o'clock, where we shall have part 6 of this eternal warfare. Very strong word. But I'd like to thank Brother Peyton for actually bringing it up, because it does take a lot to say things that he's aware might cause certain kind of disagreements, and to be the person to take those. And I'd like to thank Sister Tash for being aware of what this might actually trigger in some people, and highlighting, and also standing on her square of in why women feel a certain way. And we will tackle the concept of who's responsible. Sister LeBron has just said, like, she would make choices different had she known certain things. But just so we know, for all the women out there, by no means will we ever excuse the bad behaviors of men and put all the 100% onus on women ever. But what we try to say is, in the process of fixing men, all we can do is give women advice of how best to stay away from certain men. And as we're fixing them, hopefully that will minimize some of the heartbreak and hardships that, unfortunately, Sister Laverne has described in that fixing process.
Yep, I agree with that.
Thank you, Sister. Sister Tash, you want to say something?
Just a quick one. I wanted to carry this discussion on Discord if those on the panel want to continue. I do obviously want to wait for your show next week, but I think we kind of left it a little bit open, and I think probably I didn't make myself clear, that I do think there's a balance of responsibility when bringing a child into this world. That's
yes.
The point I wanted to
I'm going to write that down. Let me write that down, because I agree with you 110% with the 10% error margin about that. But what people in the manosphere are saying is the practical tangibility of that concept. So both men and women should be held accountable. However, I think Robert Payton made it quite clear that he's saying that even though that is true, women are held the higher burden because of the birth giving and the time it takes.
Exactly.
So they shouldn't be, because of the communities. That's a.
And that's what Brother Kel was saying. That
I don't think you hear me. When I'm saying physically, unless men can have babies, that's biological.
Okay,
it's not
I need
about.
to
It's not
speak to you in the Discord. Can you come to our Discord, brother?
I think with the Discord, I'm not too sure if it's as simple as click and join. I think you have to sign up. Is that right? Am I wrong?
Yes, Raven, you need to come as well.
I'll have to create. I'll have to create a. I mean, is there a link that we can share on the platform, or is it you only want certain people on? Is that right?
No, you can share it on the platform.
If you have any kind of forum where Black people are being constructed, by all means, we can promote on this platform. That's what we're all about. I would say, because of the time in Europe and Canada, these kind of places, and England, right now, we start late. So most people might be going to bed for their thing tomorrow. So not everyone might be able to jump on. But saying that, we can actually get people ready for next week so people can prepare the argument. And the argument you're saying is the fifth, and I know it sounds hard because when you get it, you really want to get to the end of it, right? I get it, debate. Hey, nice. What I'm saying is, give all the people the chance to actually research and really rethink their thoughts. And that is the big question: the responsibility of pregnancy and how it impacts the community. And obviously, Brother Carol's pushed forward the community the angle. Sister's saying that maybe the men need to hold high responsibility. Brother Stan is trying to, Peyton is trying to talk about the more logical, tangible step. But either way, if we could freeze it there and I can promote the show next, and we can invite other women who have their own opinion, and we can, because this actually is important, because even though there's the actual the juicy topic that we're going to tackle, what's more important to me is how do we as a community talk about these very high anxiety, passionate topics without triggering those high anxiety and passion, and hopefully we're in the solution mode and not the kind of like sexiness mode of, this is a sexy topic, let's jump in and get it done, right? That's how I'm trying to really, learning and being codified on how we communicate. So if I could ask Laverne, Tash, Stanley, and Peyton to join us next week at 10, do you reckon that, and obviously Brother Kel, would that be a possibility or not so much? What do you reckon?
It's a possibility for me.
Yes, definitely.
I would, yes.
Okay, excellent, Stan. So what I would say is, if you're on Instagram, if you follow @Raven, I'll put that there, @RapRaven. That means every time I promote this show, it comes up. So all the links are putting on there. Also, if you follow this page, it should tell you anyway, right? Because when it goes live, it lets you know. @Raven Instagram. There you go.
Raven, I promote your show in my Discord. It's got about 60 people in there.
Oh, you're
So
the best. This is good. And just so you know, this show, I want us to start seeing the show more as a Black community show rather than my show. And any person who wants to be constructive as Black people are welcome to come and push their ideas and be a part of the panel. But ultimately, what I would like to get going is maybe a full, I don't know, I think it's 6 people you can have, or maybe it's 8, I don't know, of people talk about constructive views, but also tackle some of these hardships and maybe be one of the earliest kind of podcast, whatever it might be, that actually tries to try and solutions and not become a back and forth of angerment and this kind of stuff. But actually,
right.
you know what I mean? I know it's challenging, but
That sounds good. That
there
sounds
you go.
excellent. Yeah.
And that's why I'm sorry if I have to interrupt everyone, but sometimes I'm trying to look at the bigger picture and the strategy and the solutions of how do Black men and Black women actually find solutions to some of these community issues. All right. But I'm going to go now. So could everyone give their final 1 minute synopsis and promise us we're going to be here next week, and then we can end the show. So go ahead, starting with whoever wants to start.
I'm just going to say that, I do believe that the African man needs to learn about the 8 types of women that the African falls in, not to abuse her or not to manipulate her, but to understand female psychology, to get married to her and build up the African family. Definitely we need to learn about female psychology. Definitely we need to do that.
May I go next?
Go ahead, Stanley. You may.
A bullshit argument. There are more than 8 types of Black men. It's a bullshit argument.
Hold on, let me stop you for 4 seconds. On this show, give me 14 seconds.
Simplification.
Hold on, Stanley. I know you might have a delay. We try to use colorful language, colorless language, only because we don't know where people are coming from.
I'm sorry.
If possible,
my bad. It is a bad argument. If you're really gonna use 8 types of people, that's ridiculous.
Okay, but Stanley, maybe next week we can unpack that more. But for those who listen, Brother Stanley is new to us, and he's a person who came in talking about the freedom to marry outside the community. I'm sure we'll tackle that as time goes by. Who's next?
I've said everything. Just everyone jump on my Discord.
There you go. If you put the link in the forum,
please come.
that'd be good.
I'd like to hear more from you, sister.
You would? Okay. All right. I'm up for that.
Definitely. Definitely.
Put the link in the forum.
Onto your Discord.
You have to get the
Are you going to put it on the group?
Yeah, I put it in the private chat.
I think I've got Discord.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. If you don't put it in the public one, there you go. Let me
do for that.
Have you put it? I don't think you put it in the private chat because I'm here now and I can't see it.
Okay.
What? Oh, no. You have to.
Have a look. Have a look.
Okay. Hold on.
I can't. No.
1 moment. I'm going to put it in now. Or just give me a minute,
I'll
please.
copy and paste it and I'll see if I can jump in.
Yeah, don't close the show yet, Raven, please. I need to.
I won't. No. We want to promote your Discord. Does your Discord group have a word, a name, or something it's trying to do?
Cool.
It's called The Voice, The Conversation. So,
right.
Yeah.
And just a question. Is it full of Black people or is it multi?
It's unfortunate. I mean, we did have Black and mixed race people, but it's just now Black people.
When you say mixed race, you mean mixed with Black people?
We had mixed race people, individuals that were people that were, but we had a few issues initially with that, so it's now just open for Black people. So,
okay, so just to highlight the things I was saying, this was something I'm aware that sometimes when you try to do these community stuff and you let everyone in, you realize I don't know this should have happened, but
we'd have to talk about that one offline.
Definitely, because this is something I've been talking about for many years, and that's why this is called the Betterment Broadcast. Black people on Black issues. Very interesting. But anyone else have the last thoughts before we disconnect?
I just hope we can find a solution, a sensible one, a workable one.
Well, let me say this to you, Sister Laverne. What we're going to do, we're going to take it very slow. So we're going to start next week with this concept of pregnancy and the responsibilities. And we're going to, every time something's triggering, we're going to pause for a bit and find out how we could iron out the way it's said to make both points understand where people are coming from. And that's the challenge we're going to deal with. Because both parties will always have logic, but it's logic that maybe the others can't actually break down. So we're going to try to find out if we can break that down. And that's a challenge we set ourselves. Why? Because we love Black people, and we're going to try to find solutions. That's what we're going to do. So if that's everyone, I'm going to end the show. But hopefully you guys have taken the link for the Discord. And what's the Discord? Do I have to sign up to a new app or something like that, or do I just join? How does it work?
Yeah,
I'm
you
already
have
on.
to you have to go via your app, or you can get it no, you can't. It has to be via an app, the Discord app, and
Right.
then you just tap onto my link, and it will send you straight there.
Okay, I'll see if I can join that because I'm very new to the whole Discord world.
Okay, I'm on it now. Yeah, I'm
There
on
you
it
go.
now. I'm on
But
yours now.
remember, family,
Good.
next week,
What's the other American brother's name? I haven't got my glasses on. So
Peyton, you mean Brother Peyton?
Peyton, yeah. Join Peyton, please. Don't hope I didn't offend you, but it's just differences of opinions. You know, hopefully you'll join. I don't know if you can hear me.
I'm sure you can. But the link's there for him to go, and we can always give it to him at some point. But hopefully everyone tune in next week, Friday, where we're going to continue this this topic of do black men and black women listen effectively to each other's requests. I know it sounds like we're going around the bush to find the solutions, but that's what we might have to do. And okay, hopefully, so for everyone, we're going to say goodbye. I'm going to end the show, but thank everyone next week. Black Brahman and be constructive and all that good stuff. All right, thank you very much.
Right. See you later.